Hello, hello. I'm Mark Diaz-Truman from Magpie Games, here running a Gauntlet Hangout for Cartel. We're launching the Cartel Kickstarter this month in March, and so I thought I'd kick off March 1st with a bang. We have four wonderful players here tonight to play Cartel using the Cartel Quick Start rules, which I actually just emailed to them today over the internet's version 2.0, which has some tweaks and explanations for stress and lifestyle that'll be up on Drive-Thru RPG soon. But let's go ahead and introduce ourselves real quick. So, Rich, you want to start?
My name is Rich. I'm a member of the Gauntlet, do this Plus One Forward podcast where I talk about PBTA games, so I'm super excited to give Cartel a shot.
Awesome. Paul?
Hi, I'm Paul, and I am also a Gauntleteer. I edit 3 of the podcasts and occasionally stick my foot in my mouth. And I am also really excited to play Cartel.
I love the word Gauntleteer. Like it sounds like a Rocketeer, like superhero group, and it's like such a cool evolution of the Gauntlet to people. That's nice. I love it.
I was kind of thinking more Mouseketeer when I did it.
But same
fine.
thing, right? Like, Mouseketeer, Rocketeer. Yeah, you're part of an organization.
I got dibs on Annette Funicello.
There you go. Mark, how about you?
Hi, I'm Mark Causey. I'm just a member of the Gauntlet. I'm not important enough to muck around with their podcasts. I'm really excited by the not only the fiction that Cartel seems to be based off of, but truly taking a different perspective for a game. I love seeing it from someone else's eyes, and I'm really excited to see what we're gonna do tonight.
Awesome, man. Cool. And last but not least, Chris.
Hey, I'm Chris. Also a member of the Gauntlet. Really excited to be here. Really fun to always play a game run by its designer. So thanks for having us, Mark.
Awesome, man. Awesome. It's so funny with playing a game by the designer. I'm not always sure we know best, but we're going to go forward, and I'm really looking forward to seeing Rich run it for 20 sessions in a row or whatever he does, because I don't know. Like, I've never had any gaming group my whole life last as many sessions as Rich's shortest gaming group, but that was we can get through it. So we have 4 characters today who are all part of, mixed up with, and trapped by the Sinaloa drug cartel. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Cartel, basically the setup is that it's 2007. You all live in Mexico, in Durango, Mexico, which is about 10 hours south of the U.S.-Mexico border. It is a beautiful, beautiful city with eclectic architecture and cathedrals and street festivals. And it also happens to lie at the border between 2 of the largest drug trafficking organizations in the world, the Sinaloa drug cartel and Los Zetas. Now, the Sinaloa drug cartel is kind of like the classic Coke of cartels. They bring that mix of like patronage and violence that makes the narco state work, man. They're the good old boys of drug cartels. But Los Zetas is like the dubstep of drug cartels. They're just crazy. Like they are doing things that no one has ever done before in terms of violence, in terms of escalation. And it's partially because they are Mexican special forces who defected to the cartels when democracy came to Mexico. So think about like if SEAL Team 6 was like, peace, we're going to go join the mafia, right? That's what that's like. So you all as Sinaloa drug cartel associates of some form or another, know that these people are out there. There are people way worse than you. And you are trying to hold down some sense of normalcy in the midst of that chaos. Okay. Now, folks have gotten their playbooks, so we're looking at starting to fill things out. One thing that's worth noting is you've got 5 stats. 4 of them you get to fill in. 1 is sort of hard given to you. The 4 stats are face, grit, hustle, and savagery. The first stat, face, is a good indicator of your ability to kind of push on other people and present your case. So characters with a high face are good at sort of convincing other people to do what they want, and they're good at justifying their behavior and kind of getting away with things. So El Narco has a good face. If you're in charge of the whole plaza, in charge of the whole section of this drug trade, you're pretty good at getting people to go along with you. Your next stat is grit. Grit is sort of the push your luck stat. It's the stat that we roll when no other move applies. It's equivalent in Apocalypse World is cool. It's the being able to hold yourself together. The cook has a very high stat in that things are going to go bad for you. Chris, I hate to tell you, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. You may lose your pants in classic Walter White fashion. But there is always a lucky break around the corner for the cook. Things will look up one day. Things will get better. The halcón is often in the same position. Next after that is hustle, which is really about kind of drawing people in. So rather than pushing on them and making them do what you want, it's really about like getting them on board with what you're doing or figuring out if they're telling the truth. And in Cartel, a lot of the moves are based around talking because that's what drug fiction is really about. So we're going to see that with that hustle stat about who can get the truth out of other people, who can pressure them to go along with a plan based on a personal relationship, that kind of stuff. And then finally, we got savagery. Savagery is everything you think it is. It has to do with your ability to kind of size up the opposition and lay down the violence when it's time. But note that in Cartel, violence always comes with a cost. If not to the person you're doing the violence to, then to you. It hurts to do harm to others, and you're going to see that you have to mark stress or give something up to make that violence happen. Okay, so does anybody have any questions as they're filling out their character sheets and getting that playbook ready to go?
Nope, not yet.
Cool.
Will we be using Yabis tonight?
Yeah, totally. We're totally going to use Yabis. Let's talk about that. So the first thing with Yabis is that you get 2 keys. That's what Yabis means, key. And each of those keys kind of works the same way it works in Lady Blackbird or the Shadows of Yesterday, which is you're going to have one way to mark XP that's repeatable. So, for example, for the cook, if the cook chooses to be in debt, then anytime that you strain your finances to meet your family's immediate needs, you get to mark XP. So when your wife comes to you and says, oh, the car has been wrecked, like something happened to it, somebody slashed the tires and lit it on fire, who would do this? And you're like, oh my God, my boss totally did that because like made him mad. And you're like, all right, we got to get a new car to get you to work. You get to mark an XP when you strain your finances to go get that car. But if you decide that you're done with the debt, then you can clear the key and just straight up take an advance when you get out from under that debt and you take a new key off either off your sheet or off somebody else's sheet. And so your character can kind of change over time by adjusting what things get you XP. You'll also notice that in Cartel, it only takes 3 XP to advance. Just 3. You make it all the way to 3. That advance is yours.
Oh my gosh. That's the best.
Well, 2 things. One, the XP is sometimes a little harder to get because you got to do a little bit more work to get an XP. You're not just rolling a die. It's not just on a miss. And when you get an advance, it's probably going to do a little less for you than you might hope. you got a new move, but you're in over your head, right? You're always in over your head. So, other questions?
I do not seem to have edit privileges on the sheet.
I thought I had shared it with you with edit. Let me link within the video Hangout window right there. Check that link. Should give you.
I clicked on you. You sent me something in, or I saw it in. Slack.
I emailed it to you with full rights, but anyway, hopefully that link works for you. Let me know if it doesn't.
Well, this one says Tatooine Apocalypse World 2nd
Yeah,
edition.
that's the wrong file.
Tatooine Apocalypse World is pretty close to Cartel. It's
not even close. Sorry for not closing a window. Sorry.
No problem. After the first page, you've picked your name, your look, your gear, all the regular stuff, your stats. We're going to leave Los Enlaces, the ties, your basically almost like bonds, till the end. Unlike bonds, they don't have any like weird mechanical thing. What they really are is for setting up the crazy situation at the beginning. And they're sticky. Like when you say somebody's your brother, your family, like it doesn't go away, right? It doesn't go away at session 4 or session 8. Like you're going to have to contend with this person as your family. They also say a lot about secrets. So there are times where your last bond may need to go, your last enlace may need to go to an NPC because you've already established so much about the PCs that are with you, right? So as you start to look through those, don't feel like you have to get all of them to PCs. Getting 2 out of 3 is pretty solid. On the back of your sheet, there's usually some extras for the cook. You get obviously your moves, but also your lab, and you get to pick what's good about your lab and what's tough about your lab. And you are presumed to normally be cooking for the cartel on a regular basis. The lab kind of defines what the problems that come with that are. For the esposa, you are married to one of the members of the cartel, or you're married to somebody who's fallen in with the cartel in a bad way. Can you tell us, Mark, who are you married to in this game?
I'm married to the cook, and I believe their name is. Oh, no name listed. I don't see it. Sorry.
That's cool. Yes, you're married to the cook, which means that you may or may not know he's the cook, right? This might be a Skylar Walters situation where he's kept this from you completely. Or you could Lady Macbeth it up, and you're the one that like pushed him to go to the cartel to begin with, right? He's just this innocent bystander who's been sucked into the world of drugs that you've known all along, right? So don't feel too narrow in that. There's a lot of options when it comes to the esposa.
There's no way that Armando was innocent. I'll just go ahead and say
Well, perhaps. For the esposa, you also have La Familia, so you're going to choose some obligations that you have, and of course some secrets that you have as well. And the esposa playbook in general is all about kind of your own secrets, your own way to push people, your own emotional manipulation. Watch out, she or he is a troublemaker. Paul, you're playing the Halcón, right?
See.
Yeah, the Halcón is the street kid / young person who is the cartel's like lowest rung. Of course, you have a gang. You have a pandilla, which is kind of more like a crew, like a skate crew than a gang. But one of the reasons you have a gang is because while you may be the lowest person in the cartel, to them, you're still awesome because you're in the cartel. They don't even have that. Right? You are the coolest person they know. Might not be very cool, but you're the coolest person they know. Right? And so as we introduce your character, we're going to talk a little about your pandilla. Okay. And then finally, the polizetta. Now, polizetta is a pun. It actually means kind of like person in the police who works for the Zetas, but I love the word, so we're going to use it. And it really means like dirty cop, but you're not just a cop, you're actually a federal officer. The regular cops, you guys don't worry too much about. Like regular cops in Mexico, if you have a dead body in your back seat, the cop's just going to be like, I don't need to deal with this. You go ahead and drive on back, right? Not my problem. They're probably on the take for the cartel. Actually, good cops often wear masks because everybody takes bribes and they don't want to reveal that they actually give a shit and care. But one level above that, the Federales, they're a pretty solid organization. And our La Polizetta works for the anti-cartel task force that's been assigned to Durango to try to break up the Sinaloa cartel and put people in jail. So while the ordinary cops aren't much of a threat, this federal task force is, and it has the capacity to bring real resources to bear. And luckily for the cartel, there's a person embedded directly in it. Okay. All right. Any questions about these?
Nope, not yet.
Awesome.
If anybody needs help with the sheet, please do let me know. Be happy to help out.
Can you help me get my move?
Yeah, what move do you want?
You fixed it. Okay.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
That's a great picture, Rich. I love it.
Thanks.
Put mine on the PC Pictures tab.
Oh, we got PC pictures and shit. Perfect. Carolina, I love it. Carolina Armando, yeah. So one of the cool things about Cartel is that the playbooks actually define a lot of where the game's boundaries are, right? So if El Narco's one of the boundaries, then the PC gets to pick a lot of what the Sinaloa cartel is doing. But if El Narco's not in, then I get to pick. And El Narco's an NPC, and he has his own way of going about doing things, right? So each PC brings with them kind of a portion of the fiction. And that's going to be true for some of our like limited edition playbooks too, like La Rata, the person who's a mole inside the cartel working for the Federales, right? Or El Güero, the CIA guy who, nobody can kill because then the Americans would be upset. But man, he's irritating.
Yeah, I'm noticing you start with one on the Palazetta. You start with one, get to pick 2 more moves, which is really cool. And then in the middle there's some of that world building stuff. Can you talk a little bit about harm? Is that different?
Yeah, good call. So when you take harm in Cartel, there's really 2 ways it happens. One is if you take harm from like getting hit by a car, punched, thrown through a window, beaten up by your, wife, whatever happens. Generally, that's going to be marked as stress. So it's more like in drug fiction. You show up at the office with the big ice pack on your eye because you got beat up, but it's really more just like you're having a really bad day. Like poor Jesse Pinkman just can't catch a break. Dude's having a really bad day pretty much all the time, right? So that's stress. And we're going to talk more about stress as we go through the game, but all that stuff gets funneled into stress until you get guns. And when you get shot, there's a move. And when you get fucking shot, roll. And you roll based on the fiction. So if you've got a bodyguard, if you've got if the weapon isn't really a serious weapon, if the person isn't really trying to kill you, then you're likely to roll high. And if you roll a 10 plus, you're good, man. Like you get shot, it's tough, like it hurts, it sucks, it's not bad. But on a miss, you're done. You're done, cover on, that's it. Right. And so when we turn the fiction over to that move, I can't save you. There's nothing I can do. That might be the end of your character. Right. And so guns matter in this game. And when they come to bear, we might see you leave the story. In general, Cartel has pretty quick character generation. So if for some reason your character is offed halfway through, there's always some new character on the wire who's coming up or, getting out of jail or whatever. And we're happy to bring you back in. And the drug war continues, whether we like it or not. Does that answer your question, Rich? Cool. Yeah.
It certainly does. Thank you.
Awesome. And yeah, harm is an interesting thing. It's actually on each of your character sheets because it's kind of this personal thing when it happens. Like you want to have it right there, man.
All right, I have my moves.
You're all set. Good. Looks like people are coming together. I like it.
Losses.
Okay. Yeah, looks like we're getting ready to move over to Enlaces. So let's start introducing some characters here. So I'd like to start with Tonio, if that's cool, Paul, and just kind of let's talk a little bit about what Tonio's up to, and we'll build out from there. Is that cool?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I think shoot, I just hit the wrong button again. But anyway, I think I'll go ahead and give the first one to an NPC.
Well, let's just start by introducing your character. Let's say
start
you kind of get some sense of what you're about.
Got it. Sorry. Tonio is at the lowest rung of the lowest rung, but much as his crew does, he doesn't really see it that way. People that can boss him around, but he's not he's pretty committed to the belief that he's going to be the narco.
It's the Mexican dream, right? To move up the ladder. Big man was once the small man.
And probably by the time he thinks, if I live to 20, I'll be in charge.
There you go. Love it. That's great. Cool. So have you made decisions about your gang?
Yeah, I was just starting that. I can give. I've got these questions. Okay, I think that Nacho cheers me up when mierda gets tough.
And what does he do or she do to cheer you up? Is she funny? Is he goofy? Like, what's that like?
He's a little on the chubby side.
Yeah.
And he does a perfect impression of that guy that used to host Sábado Gigante. so really almost all he has to do because my tia used to watch Sábado Gigante like reruns, if you can imagine.
That's good.
And
Yeah.
and all he has to do is say, "Buenos ding dong dilly dias," and then I'm all over it.
That's awesome. Okay.
I think Lola in the no, I'm gonna pick I think Torpe. He's a real puto, but I kind of feel responsibility because I was there when his brother died.
Okay.
I don't know necessarily how his brother died yet, but that's it. And I think Lola's always ready to step up when needed.
Awesome.
I'm assuming,
Awesome.
I'm assuming that entrarle means walk in, step up, something like
It's
that.
like go. It's like go. Like it's like who's ready to make it happen, man. Like she's tough, right? She's your go-to. Like if you need something done, she's actually going to do it. She's going to do it right. But you said that Torte, like, how does he screw things up? Like, is Torpe like dumb, or is he just sort of like clumsy? Like, what's his deal?
Right, he's one of those real smart guys that trips over his shoelaces.
So we had a great plan, but somewhere between here and there, it just kind of fell apart.
Every time, man.
That sounds great. Good, cool. Well, make the rest of the decisions about your gang. We'll come back to it. That's awesome.
Cool.
Let's go to Rich. So Rich, tell us about the Polizetta.
That was a weird noise. I am playing Uno Mas, spelled Maas because of Timo Mas, one of my favorite trance DJs. And Uno Mas is Polizetta, which means he's part of the anti-cartel task force. He's got a brand new partner. We are going to call her Zamora. She's got potential, but she's a little bit of a fuck up. Like, just not collected. Zamora doesn't have it all together yet. And,
one might say.
Yeah, green, indeed, green. Maybe, a lot of book learning, not a lot of street smarts. Ortiz is suspicious of me.
And why is Ortiz suspicious of you?
Ortiz is suspicious of me because in a check-in, he realized that my drop piece, I didn't check it in, and when he asked about it, I made an excuse off the top of my head, and he didn't buy it. So he thinks that I probably, used it on someone or dropped it on someone to make sure that the things went smooth as far as processing.
So he doesn't necessarily think you're involved with the cartel, but he doesn't trust you.
Right. And if it's a one shot, and if you want to say that was something cartel related, I'm okay with that.
I mean, everything's kind of cartel related, right? Because you're the anti-cartel task force, but he's not like pulling at that thread necessarily yet. He's just keeping his eyes open.
Yet.
I think that's good. Yeah, cool. Great. And you're from here, right? You're from Durango. How did you convince the anti-cartel task force to bring you back home? You probably trained in Mexico City, like you've probably been moved around. Like it's you don't start at the FBI in Albuquerque and stay in Albuquerque. Like you've traveled a little bit. What is it that brought you back to Durango?
My tia, my parents are dead, but my tia is very sick, and so they've allowed me to come back here to work because she's dying, and so I'm here to take care of her.
That's fantastic. That's great. So you also have some things about working with NPCs from the cartel, right? So one of the questions is who almost gave you away? So who is it that almost screwed this up and revealed that you were working for the cartel?
Oh, there's got to be Elisa.
Okay.
Almost gave me away. I think maybe I've got a cell phone with 2 SIM cards, and I had the wrong SIM card in for her to answer the phone, and she blabbed where I was, and I had to really hustle,
like make it work. Cool.
Yes.
Good. Yeah. And what does she do for the cartel? Like, is she like an enforcer? Is she like a lieutenant? What does she do?
I'd like to have her kind of involved with one of the other player characters, if that's cool. Maybe.
Yeah. Does she? I mean, any of those roles can totally tie into the other characters. So if she's an enforcer, she might deal with problems that come up around the cook's lab. If she is a lieutenant, she might be the person the cook gives the drugs to. Like, there's a lot of places that's going to lock in. So whatever you pick will tie it to these other PCs.
Let's say then she's an enforcer who deals with the cook.
Cool. So Elisa, she is a familiar face, Chris, around your lab. Cool. All right, and last but not least, who offered to scan El Narco with you? Who said? Uno, we got this. This is gonna work, man. This is gonna be good.
Worst idea, Gata. Why, Gata? Do you have to? Why can't you just enjoy what you have, Gata?
All right. Well, let's say Gata's a lieutenant, right? She's kind of this mid-management drug narco, and she's got dreams to be La Narco, right? She wants to move up in the world. And what was her plan? What was this plan that you thought was just terrible to make some money and get ahead?
Yeah, her plan was to try to basically sneak onto El Narco's compound and plant a bomb under their car. Basically bomb their car and then set it off. Like, that makes no sense because Narca has like 10 cars.
So first of all, yeah, he has a lot of cars already. And number two, if you get caught, you are dead. DED dead. Like, DED handed over to the cook to be melted down in a vat of hydrochloric acid, dead, right? And has got to given up on this plan. Do you have any indication that she has come to her senses?
Well, I stole her C4. So
okay. All right. So you put a dent in what she was doing, but she may have other schemes in that same.
I can only do so much.
You can only do so much. Excellent. And right now, there's a good amount of support from the new president, Calderon, to fight the narcos, to bring the military to bear. What new resources does your department have that you're going to be using for good or ill to bring the cartels to justice?
I think that we've all been given nice, shiny Kevlar vests.
Ah, great. So there's a whole bunch of body armor that's they want you to bring the fight to the cartels, right? You got that body armor. Love it. Mm-hmm. Okay, wonderful. Let's head over to the cook, and then Mark, we'll do the spouse last. So Chris can kind of set up his thing and you play off of it. Is that cool? Great. So Chris, tell us about the cook.
Sure. So Armando is the cook. Not entirely reluctantly, but not really what he thought he would be doing. He wears kind of professional clothes. I picture him kind of wearing a decent suit, and he kind of has a normal life.
That's awesome.
That, he goes to a day job, he does this, and then, clocks out and goes and makes heroin.
All right, so you're pretty tired then, right? I mean, you have a regular job and this heroin job. That's a lot. Tell me about your regular job. That's awesome. I don't know if I've ever had a cook before. He's like, I'm working a second shift to make my heroin. What do you do for your day job?
I'm picturing just like some kind of office worker. Like,
well, you have some serious chemistry knowledge, right? So
it's boring.
Okay. This is gonna be great. All right, I love it. So, where'd you get this chemistry knowledge? Like, do you have a graduate degree? Like, because making meth is not. I mean, you can make it in like little amounts without having, but like serious, like for a cartel, meth is a lot of. So, did you study in the States? Did you study in Mexico? Or are you kind of self-taught? Like, how'd you get there?
I went to school. I went to college in like a decent Mexican university, but it's hard to get a good job out of that. Like the good pharmaceutical gigs are up in the States.
Okay, cool.
A difficult.
So can we do something like ordering for like a factory? Like you handle something like really terribly boring, like filling out forms, making sure the right number of barrels of things ended up at the maquilera, like all that stuff.
That sounds pretty good.
All right, great.
I
And then
like where that can go.
and then at night, you haul off to your lab to
Mhm.
make heroin for the cartel.
Yeah.
Great. Why does El Narco put up with this? Like, wouldn't he want you cooking more often? What is it about this that works for him?
I might not be the only cook,
Okay, cool.
or there's something like I do a very particular subset.
Why do we
of
say
the
that
work.
it runs 24 hours a day? Like, you take the night shift and there's a day shift that comes in when you
Yeah.
leave, right? Like, basically that lab never stops cooking, right? So yeah, tell me about your lab.
All right. My lab is it has the tags medium, fixed, exposed. It has equipment to dispose of dangerous chemicals. It has like really nice equipment,
Cool.
professional grade equipment. But that equipment is kind of difficult to calibrate and use. So it's finicky and it takes like attention to make it work. And it's poorly secured against intruders. It's not like some bunker, some super fancy bunker somewhere. It's just like a basement in a house that happens to have a bunch of fancy equipment in it.
Yeah, great. So the cartel has bought this house and they've taken out all the stuff from the house. From the bottom, let's say like there's almost like 2 levels below there, like a finished basement kind of situation, right? And it's just packed with stuff. And up above, what is there, like a little bit of a front, right? Like it kind of looks normal above, but then you go downstairs and it's just meth time or heroin time, whatever. That's great, cool. So the medium size means that like it's really hard to move, right? It's really difficult. Fixed means that it basically like all of that equipment is like bolted to the floor, right? But it's not unstable, right? It's actually it's actually like a pretty stable, safe environment.
Yeah. As long as we don't try to move it, it's fine.
Great.
And I'm also indebted for it. I forgot to say.
Yeah, you're indebted, so you owe the cartel. That's awesome. Cool. So why don't we say that Elisa, one of Elisa's main jobs is to make sure that like as the shift change, nothing happens. Like her job is to kind of watch the lab as a resource for this. What's your relationship with Elisa like? Do you like her? Does she like you? What's the relationship like?
I like the thought that we get along maybe almost too well.
That's awesome. Yeah. So she's
mi esposa.
That's perfect. I love it. All right, great. So yeah, so it's a little flirty, it's a little fun. She likes you. You certainly you dress well, like you show up to work on time. She doesn't have to. She never had to come to your house and beat the shit out of you to make sure that you show up to work the next day. It's like, it's a pretty good situation. Have you ever talked about it with her? Like, has there ever been any actual tension, or is it still kind of simmering below the surface?
Have I talked to who about? Sorry.
Have you ever broached the subject with her that maybe, in another life or something like that, or has it always kind of just been below the surface?
I think I'm picturing it at that very soap opera-y below the surface feel. So we haven't explicitly been in another life, because then we might just be friends.
Yeah.
But since we haven't talked about it.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. Okay, cool. Last but not least, the spouse. You've already suffered such betrayals, Mark. such pain, the likes of which no one has known. Tell us about the spouse.
Well, I've been trying to listen, and I'm very open to what we may decide as a group. So I don't have all the answers, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, for sure.
Catalina likes to spend beyond her and Armando's means.
Oof.
So I'm looking at the 2 secrets I have, and so I took debt. And I figure if Armando has 2 jobs that are probably 18 hours a day, that I'm having an affair because there's no one else around.
Perfect. That's great. I love it. Okay. So first, I know that Armando, you chose debt as one of your keys. So you are in over your head, my friend. And Mark, tell us, what does Carolina spend her money on? Like, so is it clothes, jewelry, food, cars, all of the above? Like, what is her retail therapy of choice?
She runs a failing real estate business that she pumps money into. And she has to look good for all those houses that she shows. So clothes and a company that, like, she keeps on, like, she'll be like, let me put down the down, this down payment here or something like that, and to get people enticed, and then it never works out. And so she's just like, she's okay with money, like she knows figures and stuff like that, but she just wants it to work. She knows the next house will be the right one. So
Yeah, she is. She's committed to the bigger picture that maybe Armando sometimes can't see.
yeah, yeah. And she's addicted to those shows about flipping houses and stuff like that.
That's great. Yeah, yeah. I love it. Yeah, that's wonderful. Okay, so great.
And
So what are some?
actually I think I found the house for the cartel. I think that was how I got started.
Well, let's leave whether you know a little bit ambiguous, because some of the enlaces will tell it, but it could also be that you did that deal and the guy you sold it to is like, oh, what a wonderful thing, and Armando the whole time is like, oh, I can't believe this is happening, right? But yeah, I love that you were the realtor for that house. That's wonderful. We'll find out if you know or not in a little while.
Yeah, that was the beginning of my one sell streak. So
yes, that first sell. Cool. Tell us about the other things you've chosen as your like sort of familial responsibilities.
okay, so in the section La Familia, it says I need to choose 5 obligations.
That's right.
Okay, so I have to maintain my real estate license. That was where I got the real estate bit.
Yep.
I would like to say that we have a high school student. I assume that means
Good.
child.
Yeah. There's a couple different, like, you can actually set this up so that all 5 of them are children if you want. Like, it's possible.
Oh, okay.
Right. So, but like, yeah, high school students, great, cool.
In our home is also mi abuelita.
Yeah, your grandmother lives, or your. I mean, depending on how you want to do that, it's either your grandmother or your mother, depending on what you're saying. But yeah, usually abuelita.
Okay.
Whether elderly grandparent is perfect, it's your mom's mom, right?
Let's go with my child's grandmother. So my mother is there.
Okay, great.
I am 2 months pregnant.
Of course you are. With whose baby, we do not yet know. These things will be discovered as we go on. That's wonderful. All right.
I host dinner parties.
Okay. Yeah. So you're really pretty committed to this like upper middle class lifestyle in Durango, right?
Yes.
Which is that what you grew up in, or did you and Armando both come from people, like, did your parents like have this as a stable life, or are you kind of reaching beyond what they had?
This is kind of the dream for me. I think I don't even know if I'm Mexican. I think I may have come from a poor country, and this is like the life for me.
Okay. Yeah, like you might be from Guatemala or Colombia, right? And yeah, okay, great. And Armando, you married Armando. He has a solid job. This is the life, right? Armando, on a scale of 1 to infinity, how much do you hate this upper middle class existence, or are you totally on board with it? Are you bought in as well to the house flipping and the dinner parties and the?
I think there are certain aspects of it that grate on me, but it's kind of what I'm used to. I think I more grew up kind of like this, and I kind of followed in my parents' footsteps, where it's like, go to university, get a
degree,
job,
probably get a graduate degree, get a
all
job,
this other
right?
stuff.
Yeah. Cool. So what is
without the house flipping?
Could do without the house flipping. So that's great. That's great. So we're going to leave it a little ambiguous how you got into this. We'll figure out as we go. But one of the sort of questions I have is, are you aware how much trouble you're in? Meaning, like, do you have a sense of how much debt you have? Part of her debt is secret, but you're in debt too. Do you know how bad it is? Or is it one of those things where every month you put it off, you're like, it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
I think that I'm doing enough, but I'm probably not.
All right, awesome, good. So there's a little denial in there. That's excellent. Okay, does anybody have any questions before we move on to enlaces? I think those are pretty good sort of thing. So we've got a couple characters. I'm noticing, like, not a lot of context yet with Paul's Halcón, but that's going to come really fast because he's going to be related to somebody. He's going to be mixed up in somebody's business. So let's go ahead and start with Rich. Rich, why don't you do your first enlace, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. I grew up with blank on the streets of Durango. You still have a beer after work if you're both free. It's nice to know someone who isn't involved with either side of your double life. Yeah. Could it be Armando or Tonio? I don't know. Is Tonio the kind of person to have a beer? Is he too young?
I mean, it's a little strange that you would have grown up with Tonio, right? Because he's probably, he would have been a kid, right?
Right.
But could be that you're pretty young too. But I mean, Armando, like you and Armando.
Seems like Armando. Seems like it fits with Armando. You good with that, Chris?
That's great. Okay, so here's the thing, right? You're the dirty cop, and he's the cook, but neither one of you, or at least he doesn't. You don't know that he's involved with that, right?
Armando has this regular everyday job.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how he pays for all of that shit Carolina has, but
yeah, but that's it.
Not shit.
Perfect. Yeah, great. And we'll find out. You might come to dinner party. You might be a big part of Armando's story. We'll see where it goes. When you guys meet for a beer, what kind of place do you meet for a beer at? Armando, are you the kind of person who's going to meet at a dive bar with your cop buddy, get away from your wife, get away from your family, or do you go to like a nicer place that's kind of more in keeping with your image?
I like it being kind of an escape.
That's great. All right, cool. Good. It's fun. So one of the things for Cartel, we have locations, and the locations have location moves for me to make as a GM. So when we establish a location like a bar and we return to it, then it gives me some new tools as the GM to bring that bar into the scene in fun ways. Cool. So let's go on to Paul. So Paul, let's do your first enlace.
Okay. My first one kind of almost has to be either. My first one is someone gave you some new responsibilities lately at your request. They have their doubts, but you'll prove them wrong soon. So it's pretty much got to be either Armando or Uno Mas.
Sure. Or it could be a NPC if you look at your other two and you say, yeah, these are definitely going to PCs. If you want to do this one to an NPC, that's fine. It could be that it's not about the cartel, right? There's nothing in there that says it has to be the cartel, although it usually is, right?
Yeah. I think maybe that, like, officially, that I'm a CI. I'm a confidential informer for Uno Mas.
Yes, I love it.
But unofficially, he's given me some work to do for him.
That's great. There's a Fuzzy Dunlop situation here.
Yeah.
You're a criminal informant, but like there's a lot of forms that get filled out with your name on them, some of which you never had anything to do with, right? That's great. So obviously, you have this guy's name on file, you have his record, you have his number, you sometimes make cash payments to him as part of this whole criminal informant network that you're supposed to be developing, that they brought you back here, right? You know these people. What is he doing for you? That goes beyond this basic criminal informant work.
Oh, he's keeping an eye on Ortiz.
That's amazing. All right, so you have the Halcón and his crew following Ortiz to make sure he doesn't get too close to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's perfect.
He just
all right,
drops
good.
dime whenever Ortiz comes around. I always seem to happen to know.
Yeah, you're always in the know. That's perfect. So Paul, tell us about your crew's style of following Ortiz. Like, how do you all get it done?
Well, we're like, one of the things I decided is that we have families and shit,
Okay. Yeah.
kids, and so we may even be pulling in some of the kids, our kids' age, like the 7 and 8 year olds, to 6, 7, whatever, to kind of run interference while one of us does the actual following.
That's great. Cool. So it's kind of you got a whole scam you do to keep it in your sights.
Right.
That's awesome. Love it. Okay. Mark, how about you? What's an enlace for La Esposa?
My first enlace is right here. Someone and your spouse spend time together, but you'd prefer it if they weren't involved in your life. Tell them what they did to anger you. Okay, I think the answer to that is Uno Mas.
Yeah, so you know that he's friends with Armando. You know that he comes around. What did he do to make you mad?
Well, he tells me that I'm, he calls my stuff shit to begin with. If that's okay with you, Rich. Okay.
It's true. Well, I mean, I was not talking to you. I was actually talking to your husband.
Yeah. So I think Uno came over for one and one only dinner party, and maybe got a little drunk, and maybe said some things that I overheard that I cannot abide by.
And they're worse because they might be true. That's what makes them really bad.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. I believe it was something along the lines of, she can't afford this. Why is she doing this?
Right. Like, how many houses has she sold? It's perfect. Right. Great. Okay. So maybe this is the other reason you meet at the bar, right? Is like, it would be best if you weren't friends anymore, Armando. It's not a fight you want to have. It's not a fight you want to have, right? So, just get off the grid. So, cool. Okay. Uno, how do you feel about Carolina? Like, do you think she's bad for Armando, or is you just kind of like resigned to this as the way it is?
She's really pretty. I'm just a little jealous of Armando, to be honest.
So a beautiful woman. She's got a real estate license. She's clearly bringing in enough money to support this lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, she's actually, I don't dislike her at all. I do think her taste is a little wonky. I mean, Armando's just some kind of nerd.
Yeah, love it. Okay, Chris, tell us what's Armando's first enlace?
Armando's first enlace is Carolina is familia, close family. They don't know what I do for the cartel, and I'm not sure how long I can keep the secret.
Awesome, good. So did you take on this second job to explicitly keep the wolves from the door? Is that the idea? Like this, somehow this happened, that you ended up with this opportunity and you've just kept it from her for this as long as you can?
Yeah, I think we had a different debt.
Okay.
That we had to pay off. Like, I'm picturing like housing crisis crash, but in Mexico version.
Yeah, totally.
Of like, she was flipping houses and then we got stuck with a bunch of debt. And I was like, oh, wait, I have an idea.
Yeah. What we can do is, since we already established that you're at this place where you do some work for like dealing with chemicals, maybe you caught someone stealing the chemicals, right? Or you caught somebody buying a lot of particular kinds of chemicals. And when you confronted them, you're like, you need to cut me into this. Like, you need to, like, so that's how we kind of opened the door, and now it's kind of closed behind you. How does that sound?
That sounds great.
Cool, good. So yeah, you kind of like, you're clever, like you're gonna outsmart this system, right? And now you're kind of in. So Carolina, what has he been telling you about where he is all the time? What is the story?
What is the story?
I mean, clearly he's cheating on you, right? I mean, that's clearly what's actually happening.
Right. So what has he been telling me? He has he does a truck delivery thing, like industrial stuff
Yeah.
in Durango, like, and it's all like nighttime shipping, and he'll be gone for days at a time sometime, and it's just he's always back on the weekend. That's the promise, right?
Yeah, that's great. I love it. So you kind of resigned yourself to the fact that he's cheating on you. It's just the way it's going to be, but like it happens. And do you have any suspicion that it's deeper than that?
I think I accept the first lie because I don't want the next set of lies.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. Okay, Rich, back to you. Tell us about your second and last thing.
All right. My second is blank is the target of an active investigation. You're not the lead investigator, but you're regularly briefed on the case. So we've got, I don't know Armando is doing what he's doing, so that doesn't make sense. I don't think Carolina's involved in anything directly.
That doesn't mean the cops have to actually be good at their jobs, right? Meaning that like perhaps Carolina is exactly who the cops are going after, and it's totally the wrong person, right? Or they're going after her because someone is mixed up with her in ways she doesn't even understand, right?
That's true. They don't have to be guilty, do they? It doesn't even say they're guilty.
It doesn't even say it. Yeah, all right, perfect, great. So Carolina is the target of an active investigation. Which, so let's keep it financial because I think that's kind of the realm she's in. So the task force is looking at her as someone who has like seen a lot of deposits of money, has these houses that she's flipping.
She sold El Narco his house.
She sold El Narco his house, exactly. Clearly, she is the money laundering linchpin of the Sinaloa cartel in Durango.
This is so great, and I know it's completely wrong, so I can let them follow all the leads they want to know what they do know. This is perfect.
The reason you got in a fight with them at their house was so that you don't have to spend time with them, which would have looked really suspicious, right? Like you did that on purpose.
That's what I tell myself. I didn't get drunk and insult her. I was all part of my plan.
It's all 11th dimensional chess. Yeah, okay.
Thank you for making me smarter.
Tonio, tell us about your second and last thing.
My second and last say is that someone disapproves of my cartel work and wants me to get out. I believe that someone is my adorably precocious 6-year-old daughter, Rosa.
Oh, no, Rosa. Why does she want you to get out?
Because she's way smarter than I am and realizes that it's going to end in blood, tears, or blood and tears.
Yeah. Okay. So she's
like even at 6, you've seen this kid on a movie somewhere, right? The kid that's like, Dad, seriously, you're a dipshit.
Yeah, I love it. That's great. Yeah, that's an interesting character. So she's. Let's talk about her mom. Are you and her mom still together?
No, I don't think so.
So you see her kind of infrequently then. It's not or she doesn't live with you.
Correct.
Okay.
Sometimes she'll be with me for days at a time or a week, but other than that, sometimes it'll be even a month or two in between.
That's great. And we'll say her mom's name is, let's go with what do I like here? Let's go with Sophia.
Sophia works.
And Sophia, we'll say like she's like, let's do something. Oh, what do I want to do? Maybe like a hairdresser. Like she works at a beauty salon.
That's perfect.
That's cool. And sometimes and she's actually done better for herself than you have, right? So she sometimes has to like travel to Mexico City for like a conference or something, for a training, or there's an opportunity for her to go. And so sometimes she leaves also with you. Is that a fight? Like, are you, or do you actually like spending time with your daughter? Is it a fight to get her? Do you want to have her more? Like, what's that situation like?
No, I think I think Tonio, I totally love my daughter. I know that I'm not in the long term the right place for her to be.
Yeah.
But once I take over, I can totally take care of her.
Yeah. Dude, Paul, it's too real, man. You're breaking my heart.
Yeah.
All right, next up, Mark, tell me next and last name. That's perfect, Paul. Thank you.
Let's take a look. And last say number 2. Someone es familia, a sibling maybe, or a cousin, someone close. They mean well, but you worry about them. Tell them your fears. Gracious.
So could be time for an NPC. Could also be that Tonio might be a cousin, right? Like we haven't said anything here about your relationship with him, and makes sense that he might be the son of your mom's sister, right? Which would make him close enough for you to care about him, but doesn't live with you, right?
Okay, yeah. Are you cool with that, Paul? Okay,
Awesome.
Yeah. We're
Great.
totally cousins.
Very cool. Now, do you think of Tonio as like a real thug, like a hard hitting dude who's in it deep with the cartels, or is he like a street kid?
I think the stuff that I hear about is he's a loving father, and he's on hard times, and it just never gets to the the actual story of what's going on. I just think I'm oblivious to it.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, he's doing the best he can, right?
Yeah,
Like he's
yeah.
the best he can. Good.
Yeah, I love him, and he can do no wrong. He's not involved with anything. What are you talking about?
Right. And here's the other thing. This is great. Now, because Tonio and Carolina spend time together, maybe you even have him fill out a couple of CI reports. Maybe you don't even tell him that you filled out the CI reports, And they say, "Oh, I met with her today. We talked about drug money." Like, maybe there's some records that would keep the police interested in this completely wrong investigation, right? All right. Armando, tell us about your next and last thing.
Okay. Blank got you into this business to help you with your financial troubles, but didn't tell you the whole story. Now you're both stuck. Could that be the woman who's like managing the lab? Yeah.
Lisa? Yeah, totally. I mean, she could have been the one that first of all, maybe she comes in and she has a shopping list of all the stuff she's supposed to buy, and she buys it, right? And eventually you're like, all these chemicals make meth. Like,
I'm putting it together.
Like, I'm not an idiot. Like, I'm actually a chemist. So like, you're not fooling me. And that's when you push on her, and she's kind of impressed.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, you're pretty smart. But now the two of you are both stuck in this position, right? Where you can't really turn it off. That's great. I love it. Kind of gives that relationship a little bit more depth. That's great. Next up, Rich, last and last thing.
My last and last say is, sorry, I'm always dramatic. I move up to help with something else, and then I think.
That's cool.
Blank is your main contact in the cartel. Tell them how you two make contact when you need a face-to-face meeting. Feels like that's an NPC.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it could be Lisa if you want to circle back to her, because I think it's always conservation of NPCs, right?
The one who almost got me in trouble is also my main contact in the cartel. That's great.
Yeah. So what is it? how do you two meet up when you need to meet face to face? Because obviously, like, you meeting with her is a big deal. If Ortiz saw the two of you meeting, you've kind of got this great thing going with Tanya where you can meet with him anytime you want, right? Because you're just checking in with your CI. But like, what is the deal here with Elisa?
She's an enforcer, right? So she goes around a bunch. I want another like a seedy. Since we have a nice bar, like it almost feels like we have a pub. Maybe a seedy bar that she
Maybe
either
just like a
works at.
taqueria.
Do what?
Taqueria.
I don't
Like
know
a
what
little,
that is.
it's a little shop that sells tacos, and so you go there, like usually order from the counter, and then you sit outside. And if she sits next to you, and you don't know who she is,
That sounds
right?
great.
Yeah,
That sounds
cool.
great.
Right, so you text her to meet with your secret SIM card, meet me there, right? And the two of you just show up at the same time. You order tacos, and you just happen to sit next to each other. Like, how weird is that, right?
Crazy.
Good. Okay. Next up is Paul. Paul, what's your last and last name?
Someone and I have a plan to make some real money. Carolina worries it's not going to work, but I know it's a sure thing.
Tell us, you've had such a tough life, Tanya, right? Like you just want to be a good dad. You just want to get your kid back, right? So what is this plan that you've got cooking that Carolina's a little concerned about?
Yeah. Well, I think that I heard about, I think it's got to be blackmail, right? I think I heard about someone that's buying product, or someone that's not in the cartel but is, you know, a rich guy or someone in the city government or something like that, that is a consumer of product. And I'm just waiting to get some evidence. And I think that Carolina may have the class to get in the right spot to help with that. You okay with that, Mark?
Yeah, that's cool. So basically, like, you know, through your cartel contacts that say somebody in the mayor's office for Drongo is actually a pretty heavy heroin user or something, right?
Yeah.
And this should be a big political scandal, but not if you show up and start trying to make us think about it. Who are you? Some street kid? Nobody's going to care, right? But Carolina, she's got a real estate license. She's married. Like, she's totally a legit person. If she goes in and talks to somebody, it's going to be a totally different kind of shakedown, right? Now, Carolina, obviously you need money, so that's a thing. But what is it that makes you nervous about this plan? Maybe even more than just it's a criminal activity. Like, what is it that you think is not going to work about it?
Oh, they're going to investigate me, and they're going to find out that I'm being cheated on, and it's going to tear the family apart.
You're actually worried that when the papers report on you, they're going to report that Armando is unfaithful to discredit you, right? And it's your, what kind of woman can't even keep this man at home, right? Et cetera, et cetera. And so, yeah, you're trying to protect the secret that isn't even a secret. You guys are on brand. I love it. All right. Mark,
actually, it'll flow into the next thing too. Since I'm actually cheating, and Armando isn't cheating, I'd like to modify my enlace just a little bit. What it says is, you, a character and you were a thing in the day, but it never went anywhere. Most people don't know about it. You were young once también. Can I just say that it's ongoing?
There's nothing in that says it's not happening right now. It just said it didn't happen then.
Okay. So I hope we're not packing too much onto one NPC, but I was thinking Elisa.
Oh, as the person that you're cheating on him with?
Yes.
I mean, I'm cool with it. I don't mind everybody being connected to this poor NPC who just wants to do her damn job. Like,
okay.
That's great. Okay. Does she know who you are? Like, does she know that you're married to Armando?
I don't think she has any reason to.
Yeah, she met you through some completely different thing.
Well, we were a thing back in high school.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Okay, cool. So you knew her from before, and you ran into her at the market one day or whatever, and rekindled your relationship. And she's not gonna.
I was new. I had just come into Durango for high school, and she showed me around, and it became a thing. And time went on, and now she's back in town, whatever she was doing before, and
Yeah.
she's found me again, and we've just been with each other.
I love it. And the funny thing is, she's not going to come forward and be like, "Hey, by the way, I'm a hit woman. Like, I kill people for a living," right? And you're not going to say, "Oh, by the way, I'm married," right? And so there's this love triangle that's set up between you, your husband, and this woman. Perfect. It's great. Let's check out Chris. So, Chris, last and last.
My last and last is you and this person have an understanding. You need each other for now, but both of you know the current situation won't last.
So I would just recommend right now you have some strong connections to Uno because of his relationship, but it's kind of a limited one. There's not like a lot more you can do with it, like your old friends, and it's kind of it, right? Might be good to tie back to Tonio in terms of just keeping everything nice and tight. If you know that Tonio is part of the cartel and he does something for your lab, then that would connect it.
That sounds good, because having someone to help out with the lab is good, and also that's a person who knows we have this, we mutually know that we're both involved.
Yeah, totally.
And
so what is
Tonio
it?
cannot tell my wife.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If he tells your wife, you'll tell your wife, right? So and he'll be in trouble there. So what is it that he does for you that is really useful, but you worry like it's just not sustainable?
I mean, you need all sorts of stuff for a lab. And I think in particular, I showed up to the lab and there was a bunch of stuff that we didn't have, and a bunch of things that I was like, okay, nope, I'm taking over. I'm going to revamp the lab. I'm fed up with this garbage. And Tonio was my main gopher for all of that stuff.
Great. Okay, so Tonio, why is this relationship unsustainable? Why can't you just be his gopher forever?
Well, I can't be the cook's gopher and also, take over the cartel. That's just, I got ambitions beyond, stealing glassware and tubing and pipettes off the back of a truck. You know what I'm saying?
That's great. So there's this tension. Like, it's just like every last thing he asks you is another reminder that like he thinks he's better than you. Like he's making drugs. You're the one doing all the work. He just sits there and pours one glass into another glass. Anybody can do that, right? And there you are, Armando, and you can see it in his eyes that there's just one of these days it's gonna fucking snap, right? Cool. Okay, so that'll wrap up for our enlaces. I'd like to take just a quick 5-minute break so I can kind of get everything settled, make sure I'm cool with where everything is, and then we're going to jump into some scenes. I do tend, especially for one-shots / short games, to just hard frame scenes with 2 or 3 people in them, like get things moving, make things happen. But we do have some start of session moves. So I want to do those now so that we can get things rolling and make sure I know what we have to kind of incorporate. So the first start of session move I want to do is La Sposa. So Carolina, why don't you read your start of session move to me? It's part of your Mi Familia extra.
Okay. Are you talking about the part that says whenever there's a stretch of downtime in play?
Yep.
Okay. Or between sessions, roll with hustle. On a 10+, you juggle your responsibilities with grace. Clear your stress track. On a 7 to 9, one of your obligations of my choice becomes unmanageable. The MC will tell you who might be able to assist. On a miss, your secrets and obligations clash with disastrous and obvious results. Tell the MC what went wrong. Okay. What are we using to roll dice?
My man Rich here has a setup with a roll for your party.
Separately humble possum.
Alrighty. This is standard PBTA 2d6.
Yep. 2d6 plus your hustle, which
right.
is...
I'm looking that up right now. Let's see. Stats are way at the top. There we go. My hustle is a 1. So 2d6. Forgive me. Where does the 1 go? I use this thing all the time, and I've forgotten how to use it.
There's a modifier at the end.
Oh, yeah. You can always just do the math. That's what I normally do.
Let me just do that. Okay. I have a total of 6.
Start on a miss, baby. Yeah, that's great. Okay, so your secrets and your obligations class with disastrous results, meaning something about the affair you're having or the debt you hold comes crashing down around you. What is it that went wrong? So we can just kind of get some backstory here and we'll frame a scene around it. I think it might drive a lot of tonight based on how central you are to these characters.
Okay. Let's see. The money for my debt has put it so that I cannot get the medicine for my mother,
Okay.
and so she's really sick, and I can't go to the hospital because they won't help without money. Is that working, or should I go
We'll
down?
just leave it there. Yes. No, that's perfect. So basically you have one obligation, your abuelita, right, who needs medication. Your debt is getting in the way of you being able to afford that. And like the pharmacy is called and they said, no, your cards have been canceled. Like we can't give you the medication, right? Like it's perfect. Like it's great. Love it. Okay. So let's go ahead and check in with our cook. So Armando, you have a start of session move as well, I believe.
Yes. If you're fully stocked in cooking at the start of session, roll with grit.
Seems good. Everything seems to be running smoothly down there at the old lab.
Yeah. Let me give that a roll. That is an 8.
8. Awesome. Good. So 7 to 9, you cover your nut, but you have to mark stress or use up the last of something vital. So what's it going to be? Are you just going to power through and mark that stress, or are we going to see you run out of something that you desperately need at the lab?
I'm going to mark stress.
Awesome. Now, one of the things about the Esposa is she's the only character who can start with 0 stress. If she nails her obligation, she juggles everything she needs to juggle. She's the superwoman. She just starts with 0. But everybody else starts every session with at least 2. And so now you're already up to 3. Now, what happens with stress is it's a track that goes up and down. There are things you can do to clear it. There are things you can do to fill it. In general, you're going to fill it when you decide to sort of resist things. So you might find that you have a PC who pushes on you to do something. Well, you just mark stress to tell them, no, it's no problem. And then when you're out of stress, you can't mark it anymore. You're going to have to go along with them. Okay. So when you're worn down, when you're beat up, that's when people can really push you around. Now, when you clear your stress, you're going to do a stress move. And that's no problem because it's a super friendly, fun thing to do a stress move. Like you just probably like, I don't know, like have some ice cream or something, right? Well, in Cartel, it's a little rougher. There are 4 stress moves. Lose yourself into substance, dish out a beatdown, verbally shame or abuse somebody, or the very worst stress move, I urge you, do not do this one. It's going to lead to nothing but trouble and sadness, is that you can go talk to a priest. But I wouldn't recommend it. It's very hard, right? They're gonna ask you all kinds of questions, maybe ask you to make amends. It's way easier just to get blasted on, math or something. Okay. So with that in mind, you see that 3, like the train is coming for you, right? It's gonna be a day in which you can't say no, right? All right, cool. And
How much stress do I have then?
You start with 2.
2? Okay.
Yeah. I'm sure that number will go up quickly, given your situation. And Rich, go ahead and let's do your Polizetta move. So you have a move around being an inside man.
The start of session, roll with grit. On a hit, you get wind of an investigation before things get messy on a 10+, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I have not actually added in my +1, so I'm going to add it to grit before I make this roll.
Yeah.
That was part of
You're lucky. You're lucky motherfucker, dude. You pull this out.
We'll see how it goes. I just rolled snake eyes.
Perfect.
On a miss, the department catches a hot lead on the cartel before you can intervene. La verga.
All right, good, cool. So what we have set up is the cook is a little strung out, but but has held himself together. We've got two disastrous situations on our hand for two of our PCs. Antonio, you're probably right in the middle of one of those situations. So when we come back, take a quick 5-minute break. When we come back, we'll get all those working and together, and we'll see where things go. Okay.
Cool.
Okay, hola amigos. Let's get back to it. So as you recall, we had some disastrous start of session moves from a couple of our PCs. So we're going to open kind of looking over the city of Durango, right? The cathedral, the blue sky, the clouds. We cut to a street, and the asphalt of the street not well kept. The city has a certain kind of rustic beauty to it, and one of the things I love about pictures of Durango is that it looks on one hand really like a Mexican city to look like. It has this kind of the but it also seems very a mix of how to put this, like the current, right? The cars that are on the streets, the air conditioning units on top of every building, right? So it has this sort of like existing in many times at once, right? And I think that we'll open with Tonio and Uno, both like maybe at the taqueria. You've called Tonio here. You're doing your whole CI thing, and what is it exactly that you want to get out of him? Maybe has he been tracking Ortiz? Like what is worth doing this meeting?
It's all about Ortiz. Can we lean into the department catching a hot lead? Like Ortiz just took off out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's great. Sure, yeah. So Ortiz took off out of nowhere, and Tonio, like you guys, like lost him for a little while. Like you were following him. He and a bunch of other cops were like met up somewhere, and then just like they decamped, and somehow probably Torpe. How did Torpe fuck this up? Like, what did he do that distracted your crew long enough that Ortiz slipped away?
Torpe, man. Like. He thought he had this cool new GPS thing that right, but the thing was, so, and it may even work, but the thing was he slipped it like when no one was paying attention. He slipped it under Ortiz's bumper, like in the thing, but there was nothing to secure it there.
That's beautiful. So the car drives off and it falls out onto the asphalt, right?
Right, exactly.
I love the idea that like it's like beep beep, he's this way, and like you guys like end up going around the block until he like gets it oriented, and then it's just like laying there in the middle of the road, and he's like, oh fuck, and like he's got the magnet that's supposed to be attached to it in his other hand, right?
Right, exactly.
Good, cool. So you see Tonio roll up to the taqueria. Tonio, do you guys have like a car or something? How do you get around with your gang?
I have a really, really crappy, like a 14-year-old, like Toyota pickup truck.
That's great. And like people ride the back, right? Like
yeah.
It's just kind of, that's awesome. So did you bring the whole crew with you to meet your police buddy?
No, it's just me and Lola at the moment, I think.
Great, yeah. So you told Torpe go fuck home, right? You and Lola roll up. Lola also street clothes, like totally kind of matching your style, coming from the same place.
Yeah, kind of. I'm thinking more like Mexican skateboarder kind of thing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, like you tattoos, right, and stuff on our arms, right? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're totally on the same page. That sounds great. So yeah, so there he is. Uno, he rolls up in his truck. Lola gets out. You kind of see her like take her gun and put it in the back of her pants, and she just kind of like watches Tonio, follows your lead, man.
Yeah.
I move up on the truck. Like I'm not waiting around. I'm not casual. I just roll up on the truck. As soon as it stops, I'm like,
yeah,
Tony, we need to talk. Come on.
All right. Well, buy me a fucking taco, I say.
Yeah, like Lola immediately is like, oh, like kind of like does not like kind of like, crosses her arms and stands back.
I'll walk up, order tacos. I'll like snap my fingers and point towards an empty table. Like that is where I expect Tonio to go.
Lola looks at you. She's like,
I hold up my hand, like, just stay right there, keep an eye. It's all good. I'll bring you a taco when it's done.
she's good. Yeah, she hangs out by the truck.
Yeah, but then I'll go to the table. I know I'm pushing it.
Gotta have that ambition, man. Yeah, good. So yeah, you sit down at the table, and eventually your tacos don't take long, right? You get them, bring them over, and
I toss a little, like it's a little plastic tray, right?
Yeah.
I toss it just so enough so that like a little bit of the shit like comes out of the taco, like cheese and lettuce, and that's what he gets because he's
That's what good.
Where's Ortiz?
I don't know, man. He and a bunch of cops took off. They were all in cars, and we lost him.
Now, I want to stop you for a second because, like you said, Cartel's a lot about talking. So one of the things here is you always have the option as a PC to push for the truth. Now, the truth has a couple benefits. One is you might actually learn something about what this person knows, what they're concealing, what they're up to. But you also clear some of your own stress when you get the truth. Like when you ask somebody a question and you get the truth out of them, it's worth it, right? Like it gets you something. But getting the truth is not like Apocalypse World where you ask, are they lying? And I say yes or no. Instead, you're going to make the move and structure the conversation. So do you want to push this a little bit here, Uno, and like push him to tell you what really happened? Or are you good with this answer?
I am not good with. He has one job.
Love it. Okay, great. Let's just make the move now, and we'll talk about like if you're signaling to me like, yeah, I want to get the truth out of him, I want to push that. I think we're all clear what that looks like, so we'll see it happen. So why don't we go ahead and get a roll, and it should be with hustle. Can you read this move out loud, Rich, so we can just talk about it a little bit?
Get the truth. When you try to get the truth out of someone, roll with hustle. On a hit, you clear one stress, and then you have some options as well. So, since I rolled Snake Eyes, I'm sure that the random number deities will be kind to me. Here we go. Oh my goodness, that is an 11. Let me see what I don't even have my hustle memorized. Oh, plus one hustle. That's a 12.
That's a 12. Okay, so that's beyond interfering with. What, do you actually say the one job line? You have one job.
You have one job. Follow Ortiz. Nothing difficult, nothing dangerous. Follow Ortiz. Follow Ortiz. I ask you, where's Ortiz? You say, I don't know.
All right, now you get to pick some options from the list. The first one is that he can't stonewall you with silence, meaning he has to give you a real answer. The second one is that he can't mislead you with falsehoods, which means he cannot lie to you directly. And the last one is he cannot mislead you with the truth, which means he can't say true things that just aren't the whole story. So which two are you going to choose?
I am going to choose he cannot mislead me with the truth. He cannot confuse me with falsehoods. All he can do is tell me the truth or stonewall me with silence.
So it's up to you, Paul. Whatever you'd like to do. What does our Halcón say?
I look down at my slightly messy taco. Pick up the slice of lime and squeeze it over my carnitas, and then squeeze a little bit of salsa roja out of the little plastic squeeze bottle.
Yeah, little plastic bottle.
Yeah, and then I just pick up the taco and take a big bite and chew.
He gives you nothing, right? All right. So as he's doing that, you're waiting, right? You hear this whoop, right? And you look over, and fucking Ortiz is there with like in a cop car, right? Like a Federale, like those big SUVs, right? Like that they have. And he's got the little thing on the top of it, right? And Lola like has disappeared. Like she's probably inside the truck or like got her head down, like she's a smart girl. She can stay out of the way. And Ortiz, like he's got the window rolled down. He's like, "Hey, cabrón." Like and like motions for you to come over. You know,
I look at thanks, Tonya. Push myself back, get up, head over to Ortiz. What's going on?
as you get closer, the back window rolls down, and Elisa is there, handcuffed behind her back, sitting in the back of the SUV. He's like, "So, bro, I see you're doing some criminal informant work. That's it looks good." And the guy in the driver's seat starts laughing. Ortiz is kind of a big guy. He's got like the big beard, and like he probably used to be like military or something. Like he might just be military. Like he might be one of the military guys assigned to the cartel task force, right? And like he just starts laughing at you, right? Like, do you know who the fuck this is? You know who this is?
Who is that? Who is it?
Is Elise Madrago. She's one of El Narco's main enforcers. This Sicaria here, 25 confirmed kills. You know how we found her?
How?
We're driving down the fucking street and she's crossing it. And you're here talking to this guy, and he kind of like, you know, like pushes the guy in the driver's seat. They're both laughing at you, right? And he's like picking up his 6-pack. I asked her, "Where do I go for tacos around here?" You know, because he's definitely not from here, right? And she fucking says, "This place. I didn't know you'd be here, man. Here, have a beer." And he like pulls a beer off and hands it to you.
Take the beer. I don't open it. So you just pick up girls crossing the street, and how do you know this girl's got a rap sheet?
Did you read the fucking briefings? Come on. And he picks up like the folder that he's got, and you do have pictures of like some of El Narco's people, right? Like it's possible. I mean, maybe. Right? All right, let's cut away from this super awkward meeting in front of the taqueria to head over to the lovely home of we haven't picked the last name for you guys yet, have we? Let's do that. How does let's see, it's Armando and Carolina. How about Flores? Does that sound good to you two?
Sure.
Flores. All right, the Flores home. It'd probably be like Herrera Flores, but like we'll just go with Flores for right now. And so yeah, you went to the pharmacy. They wouldn't give you anything. Do you come right home, Carolina? Like, are you coming right back to check on your mom?
Yeah, and my kid's supposed to be home from school too. So yeah, I'm definitely back home.
Yeah, let's say he was like waiting for you when you got home. We'll say he calls you, or let's make it a girl, so it's a little different. Why don't we do? Let's go with. We're already using Lola's such a great name, but we're already using that one. Lola, search for Dolores. Let's go with Lupita, and she goes by Lupe, right? Often, right? So you walk in, and she's already like talking at you from the second you open the door, right? She's like, Mama, Abuelita's not feeling well, and like I just got home, and she's upset, and like I don't know where Dad is, like where have you been? Like I thought you were supposed to be here when I got home. Like I had band practice, like I had this practice at school, but then it got canceled, and she's just like going.
What would I do? I'm really stressed out, right? So I just turned to her and I'm just like, I'm like, Lupe, be quiet. I was trying to take care of Abuelita. They don't have the medicine for her at the pharmacy. We're gonna have to do something else. But right now, you talking, not helping.
Awesome, good. So that sounds to me like a pressure someone. Anytime you're in a position where you're kind of trying to provoke, push on someone, not like make them a deal, not like, hey, do this for me and I'll do this for you. But when you're like, I'm your mom, be quiet. Like I'm trying to take care of these problems, right? So go ahead and re-pressure someone for me.
When you pressure someone to go along with your plans or schemes, roll with hustle. On a hit, they see your point. they have to go along with you for now or mark stress. So my hustle is a 1. I think that's what I rolled before. And I will submit. That is a 7. 1 plus 1 is an 8. So
Awesome.
you're both caught up in it. You let something important slip when they push back against your demands.
So the first thing is that on a hit they see your point. So she is going to have to cave or mark stress, right? And NPCs can mark stress, but think about it like Apocalypse World harm. Like they can mark some, but not a lot. Like, and they tend to act out and do dumb things within 1 or 2 stress, right? So inflicting stress on NPCs is a totally viable way to pressure them to kind of act out and act against their own self-interest. So she can push on this. But on the 7 to 9, no matter what she does, you let something important slip. So she's gonna push back a little bit. She's not gonna mark the stress, but she's gonna push back, and she's like, she says, Mama, I am almost an adult. I do so much for this household, and I don't think you can and like she's already running out of steam. Like, I don't think you can talk to me. Like she realizes that she's probably about to cross the line. Okay.
Right.
But what do you let slip as you shut her down?
So I my face changes, right? Like I'm all compassion again. I'm her mother, and I go up to her and I hug her and I say, "Oh, honey, I'm sorry. You are providing something for this house, not like your father. Off with someone right now."
You have a big slip. That's great. Yeah.
Well, it's a one shot, right?
Yeah, you're good. You're good. And at that moment, I think Armando, I think it's a good time to come home. Are you stopping off from work before heading off to your second job?
Yeah. I think I drop off my papers in my briefcase. As no need to mix things when I go to my second job.
Maybe even pack a bag because you're going to be out of town for several days, right? Like that kind of situation. All right, great, cool.
I came home expecting dinner, like
right. The door opens, and before Lupic can react, right, to what you just said, which like you can see her eyes are as big as saucer plates. Like, what? Right? The door opens and Armando steps in. And Armando, are you a pretty perceptive guy, or is this kind of the situation where you're like, the fuck did I do? Like what's your level of kind of understanding of your wife and daughter and what you expect from them?
I think I have a good read on my wife. My daughter is imperceptible to me.
She is a mystery. She is a 16-year-old mystery. Excellent, good. You step inside, and what do you say? Do you just sort of like hang your hat on the coat rack, or do you actually like step in with some gusto? I'm home. It's exciting.
No, I'm like, I enter kind of quietly, but like the door creaks really loud, and then I open the closet and I like hang up my suit coat because I'm just brief relaxation at home. I'm not wearing my coat.
Yeah.
And I think I just like kind of do that double take as I like see them standing in the hallway, just like their mouth like a little bit agape still. And I'm like,
Yeah. Lupe looks at you and she just shakes her head
like,
and turns around and walks away. Like as if you just like murdered a puppy in front of her, and she has no faith that you would not murder another.
Catalino,
Armando,
what did I do?
Armando, you are going to put money in the bank account now. My mother is sick and they will not give me the medicine. You will take care of this now.
All right, that's a pressure, right? I think Armando, before you got the truth out of anybody, your wife just steamrolled you. Let's hit that pressure.
Yep.
So I'm going to roll that again.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I mean, it's like the gun lugger. It's your go-to move, man.
Okay. God, it's a 6.
Oh, straight 6, huh? Perfect. Okay, cool. So she's kind of like rattling things off, and you're not 100% sure what she's even saying, and you could totally you sound like you were trying to get the truth out of her, right? Like you were trying to like what's happening, right? Like what's going on. I'm just gonna give you that with a 10 plus. So she lays into you and it's just like you don't even know what's happening yet. You're not even listening. Like you want to know what the situation is. So if you want to pursue that, that's a 10 plus for you without a roll.
Yeah, I think this is like Carolina. But yeah, your mother is sick, but has nothing to do with Lupe. Like, I don't know what did you do to her? Why? What did you tell her about me?
That's great. So what are you picking? You remember you can basically make it so she can't lie, wants to lead you with the truth, can't stonewall you with silence. What are you picking?
She can't stonewall me with silence.
Great.
Like I stop talking.
And she can't lie, but she can dissemble.
Okay, that sounds good. Cool. All right. So the question hangs heavy in the air, right? What is it? What did you tell her? What do you say?
I was telling her that she is a good daughter, unlike you, who have not been taking care of this family like I have. You know, I just let her know that, I can't even get. No, that's a straight out lie.
So I think that I'm good with what you said. Like I think
Okay.
that does kind of get somewhere. In fact, you're getting real close to a stress move there, which might be a good thing for us to hit, and then maybe move on to come back to their scene.
Okay.
Are you actually trying to shame your husband a little bit here for not taking care of this family in a real way?
I'm definitely doing that.
Yeah, why don't you read that for me here? Like you just sound like you were ready to cut loose on him and drop that hammer. Go ahead and read verbally shame or abuse.
Okay. When you verbally abuse or shame someone you care about, roll with face. On a hit, your words hit hard. Tell them to mark stress, and then other things might happen.
Great. Let's do it.
All right. So my face is
2, I believe.
2. Yes.
This is your jam, man.
All right. And I think they came up with the same numbers, so that would be a 7.
Yeah, we should probably clear these each time.
Okay, I will delete them and
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so 7, that's cool. So on a 7, this like little line of you're not really taking care of this family hits hard enough. What do we see? How do we know that it hits you, Armando? Like what do we see? Like do you make a face? Like how do we know that it actually landed?
I stopped making eye contact with her.
Oh, that's rough. You are putting this family in danger, but not for the reason she thinks, but maybe she knows, right? Like, melodrama. So you have to take a stress. Now, it's also the case that you get to clear one stress mark. When you land this punch, Carolina, feels a little better. It's not so bad, right? You got some control here. Now, if you had actually hit the 10 plus, then you would have been in a position where you could have cleared all your stress, right? And gotten it all off. Now, Armando, you're up to 4 stress, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So we're gonna cut away from this, but we'll come back and see what's going on. So back at the ranch, back at the taqueria, Elisa is looking at you like she looks like she may be a little desperate. Like she is hopeful for something. She looks over and sees Tonio. Tonio, she sees you, and she also like you know her. You've picked stuff up over at the lab. You know exactly who she is. She's making eyes like she needs some help. So Tonio, while the Polizetta here makes small talk with the former Marines who've been assigned to round up drug dealers, what do you do?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think that I'm going to try to get around, like while their attention is on on Uno, I think I'm gonna try to get around behind the, Suburban or whatever, and pull out my knife and puncture a tire.
Oh, that is awesome, man. That is great. Okay, so
Paul, I thought you were gonna be like implant the GPS under there. So I was nodding like this, and then you said pull out your knife, and I was like, no,
no, please don't do anything stupid. All right, so first of all, I think that you this is your faith trigger, right? Which is you don't have a disguise on. You're not like getting things ready with a distraction. You're just going for it, man. You're just gonna do it, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So go ahead and mark an XP, and you get the XP no matter what the roll is, right? Like you're good. You get your
Right.
XP to just you believe right now. What's this faith in? Is it like, do you actually have like a faith, like you have a rosary and you're like let's do this, right? Or is it faith in something else?
Of course, I have a rosary.
Yeah.
But the faith is like, it's in me.
Yeah.
Right. I have a destiny. I
don't know if there's anything more dangerous in Cartel than a Halcon of the Destiny, but let's do it. So this is totally pushing your luck. So go ahead and read Push Your Luck, and we'll hit this move for the first time.
I will read Push My Luck. Push My Luck. Roll with when you push your luck, roll with grit. On a 10+, fortune favors the bold. On a 7 to 9, things don't work out like you hoped. You can turn things around if you act quickly, make an ugly choice, or tough it out. The MC tells me that.
Yep.
So I am rolling for my party. And I'm rolling. This is flat. My grit is flat. And submit. Oh, there we go. That's a 5.
Beautiful. So yeah, you creep around the car, right? And as you're doing so, Lola, you as you sort of like duck around your own truck, you see Lola below your truck. Like she got down on the ground and went under the truck when she saw the Federalis coming, right? And she looks up at you, sees the knife, and she's like, great, yep, awesome. And as you step forward to the truck, Lola steps out from underneath, pulls out the gun, and unloads a couple of bullets into the back of the car. Right? She is confidently like, yes, we're fucking doing this. Like, we're gonna get these Federalis, right? Like, this is the plan. And just like immediately, like the glass shatters, the guys inside like duck their heads down, right? And like Lola like looks at you. What do you look like? Like, do you look stunned?
Yeah. That was not what I intended to happen, and so therefore, yeah, she's got my back.
So she sees you and she's like, "Oh shit!" Like right away, she's like, the two of you are on the same wavelength, right? She's like, "Oh fuck!" Like and like immediately is like, you can see like, what do I do, right? Like she figured you were trying to like, scare them off, attack them, whatever, right? And as the kind of like the glass kind of settles out, right? Like Elisa like basically like throws herself out of the car into the streets, like cutting her arm up super bad with the glass that's in the window, right? And the bigger guy gets out of the car, the driver's side gets out of the car, and you see him like he looks a little kind of like stunned, but he's got his 9mm because he's a cop, right? He's got his 9mm and he's like stepping out of the car and starting to look for targets. What do you do?
All right. We have my crew has protocol, right? Which is scatter, right?
Yeah. You don't get in fights
So-
with cops, right?
So yeah, so even if Lola misinterpreted my intentions about the SUV, she knows to hide or GTFO one way or the other, and I suspect that the driver will be focused on Elisa. I hope.
Yeah. Okay. So let's
So-
let's flee from some federales, right? So there's a move
Yes.
for this, right?
I actually I have Bendito.
Yeah.
So when I'm completely focused on escaping, I push my luck with hustle instead of grit. And then if I do get shot, I add 1 to my roll.
Yeah. So in this case, it's a little different in that this one is fleeing for the federalis, which has a special move that
Okay.
that's more like when you're just running from bullets and stuff, right? But in this case, it means that if you do choose to get shot because it's actually your choice, what happens, then you would get a +1 to the roll, right? So that might actually, like, you taking a bullet while you're running away is actually good for you, right? It's like the like, oh yeah, I got shot in the arm, it's not so bad, right?
Okay.
So yeah, like she just killed your puppy, right? She's like, oh shit, man. And then when he steps out, she's like gone, right? Like no discussion. She bolts.
That's
you
what
bolt,
she's supposed
right?
to do.
You're gone, right? So make the move and we'll find out what happens.
All right. I have 0 heat at the moment.
Yeah, they don't know who the fuck you are, right? Like El Narco's got like +2 heat. Like everybody's looking for him.
I am re-rolling the dice on the table. So that's a 6,
6, perfect.
which is good in this case, right?
Very good. So all the heat moves are backwards, right? So they're sort of like the harm
Yeah.
moves in Apocalypse World. Low is good, high is bad.
Right.
So as your heat goes up, it gets harder. You're gone, right? And like when the meathead looks up, like he sees you running away, and then he looks over and he sees Elisa running away, and he's like, "Fuck it." He like fires a couple of shots in your direction, and maybe shouts like, "Hey, Pendejo, hey," right? And you're just gone, right? And he like turns around and starts moving around the car. All right, Rich.
Yeah.
There were shots fired. Windows busted out. Elisa climbs out of the window. You kind of gather your wits about you as she hits the ground. You hear the guy getting out of the other side. Ortiz, like, looks like maybe he caught a bullet across the side of his head. Like he's bleeding. What do you do?
So I'm imagining that Uno saw all of this and just kind of ducked behind the door when Meathead opened it up.
Well, Meathead's on the other side, right? Because he's on the driver's, or he's driving. Ortiz is in the passenger lane.
I
But
get
yeah,
you.
you just like get down there by the wheel well. You get the whole car.
Yeah, I'm
between you
down
and
there by the
shooters, right?
wheel well. But I happen to see Meathead like fire randomly. And that is dangerous to the citizens of Durango, which is my excuse to tackle him against the hood and scream, "What are you doing? Fire!" And that's it. Just I'm panicked by the gunfire, and
Yeah.
I don't want him to shoot innocent civilians of Durango, my people.
Great. So Ortiz is kind of slumped over in the front seat when this other guy, we'll say his name is, get to my good list here. We'll say it's Ruiz, right? When Ruiz comes around the side, he's like looking for Elisa. You like push him up again, like, what the fuck, man? Hey, right? Like, what are you doing? So I think that in terms of intent, your main intent is just to delay him, right?
Yes, that's all I'm after.
Yeah, great. So I think that's just pushing your luck. Like you're just trying to get up in his face and keep him just a moment or two, long enough for him to be
Just trying to buy some time for my girl, Lisa. My grit is a +2.
oh yeah, hit that. That's great.
So here we go. By the way, is getting in this guy's face when his gun out, does that sound like perhaps I might be doing something entering a dangerous situation without precautions?
Yeah, man, I think that counts. Right? You're just walking around, you're pushing the guy with the gun. Yeah, same question. Like, what is your faith rooted in?
My faith is rooted in if I continually, it's like a shark. If I continually move forward, nothing can stop. I continue to break the tension of the water. I'm always moving forward. It's all in myself.
That's great.
And not
Okay, cool.
stopping.
Yeah. Go ahead and hit it.
I have rolled an 8 and I have a grit of 2, so that is a 10.
Perfect. Yeah. So you catch Ruiz and you push him up and you can tell like he's actually bleeding from his face. Like there was some glass that kind of just was flying around inside, right? And it's already kind of getting in one of his eyes. You kind of catch him off guard, and he's maybe like 6 inches taller than you, but you kind of like get him up against the car, and he's like kind of like a Dave Bautista looking guy, right? Like he's kind of like all muscle up here, right? And you kind of get him off balance. He's like, fuck, man, what? Right? And you turn back and you see like Elisa ducks around a corner and she's gone. Right? Reese,
Yeah,
what the fuck, man? What the fuck was that? You chasing her or not?
Her, you just shot over there. Look, there's a lady over there. You almost hit her, man. What are you doing?
Justify yourself, right? So this is our first like I have a story. I have a very good story that I would like to tell you about why I did these things. Right? Go ahead and read it, Rich. What's justify yourself?
When you try to justify your behavior, roll with face. For NPCs, on 10 plus, they'll accept your logic, but might have clarifying questions. On a 7 to 9, they have doubts, but they'll let it slide for now. My face is 0. And I will roll boxcars. Oh my goodness.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh,
right?
the purple with pips is my friend today.
So the first thing is when it says they can ask clarifying questions, it just means that the scene isn't over, right? Like they can still talk. It's not like, oh, then I'm done, right? Like they might just still have questions, but they buy it. They buy the core of it, right?
Oh, cool.
And
That's
Ruiz,
good to know. All right.
Yeah, Ruiz like pulls his hair back. He's like, fuck, man, I'm sorry, shit. Yeah, no, that kid just scared me, man. Like, fuck, you're from here? You're from this shithole?
Whoa, hey, are you okay? You got a lot of glass up in your face, man. Yeah, I'm from here. And what's up with shit? Is Ortiz dead?
Ruiz's eyes get big and he goes over to look. Okay, let's cut to Tonya real quick and then we'll come back to the lovely Flores household. Tonya, where are you going? What are you doing, man? What's the plan?
The plan is first to GTFO, and then second to we have some Pandia.
Yeah.
Pandia. We have a couple spots that we hang out, but there's also one that we don't go unless the mierda has hit the fan. Right?
Yeah, that's great. But not quite a safe house, but like a meeting place that's kind of off the grid.
Right.
Cool.
And I think it's like a kind of outdoors, actually. I don't know whether Durango has a lot of construction or whatever, but maybe like a gravel pit that isn't used anymore, or
yeah, that's cool. Or like a junkyard kind of thing.
Yeah,
that
something
sounds
like
good.
that.
Yeah. Let's go with the junkyard. So you get lots of like cars and stuff around,
Yeah.
right? And things like that. Yeah.
Junkyard is more picturesque.
Yeah, and maybe there's like a hole in the fence that you guys know about, so you can get under and like hide out in the back, right? That kind of thing.
Right. And so I'm going there, and I'm waiting by we have a specific spot. This is like the rally point or whatever you'd call it for when a mission goes bad. Because maybe we watch American spy movies on TV.
That's cute.
And the specific spot is this, like the barest remains of like a 1977 AMC Pacer that used to probably be lime green.
That's great. I love it. Yeah. So we'll say that by the time you get there, first of all, you're pretty beat. Like you ran hard, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm gonna have you mark a stress, right? Just that like you put the gas on, right? Like you got out
Yeah.
of there. And by the time you get there, you see that Lola's already there, and that she must have texted your other two. Like she must have texted Torpe and Nacho because they're there too. And Nacho like came with, he's got some like, you know, some stuff from like the corner store kind of stuff, right? Like he's got like a bag of chips or something, and like he's got like a 6-pack of some really cheap beer. And 3 of the beers are already gone, right? Like maybe they were drinking on their way over or something. But he shows up, and like when you show up, he sees you and he's like, oh, and he just gives you this big hug, and he's like, he lives, like kind of like lifts you up, right? Like and he like puts a beer, like opens the beer and puts it in your hand, and he turns to Lola, he said, see, I fucking told you, this boy's bulletproof.
Yeah, man, I'm you know, they shot at me, but I'm you know, I'm good. I made it. And then one of the reasons I think that we had to have a particular spot to meet is that there's a full bottle of just absolutely rot gut mezcal in the hidden in this car, because it seems like this car is never going to actually get crushed or anything.
Perfect.
I don't know why. So I finish off the beer like in one long swallow.
I almost just got shot by the cops in the back swallow.
Then I not spit it out, but actually spit just like I'm trying to spit out some of the tension.
Yeah.
And then I'm grabbing for it's not popping the trunk really. It's just kind of lifting it because
that's great. Yeah.
And grab this bottle of mezcal from inside the spare tire well.
It's great. Cool. So yeah, so you immediately like you hit that bottle and you pass it. Like it's like wow,
Oh, yeah.
crazy fucking day. Great, cool. Okay. So it sounds like you're trying to lose yourself in a substance. Are we on the same page?
We are.
That sounds good. Why don't you read the move for me? It's our second stress move.
When I lose myself in a substance, roll with grit. On a hit, clear your stress track. On a 7 to 9, the drugs take a toll. Make a drug move off the list.
So this one's, if you'll notice, like a little different than insulting somebody. Insulting somebody on a 7 to 9, you get 1. On the full 10, you get all. But with drugs, you always get all. Like unless you miss, you get your stress track cleared. But on a 7 to 9, you have to make a move with the drugs, right? So you look down the list of drug moves. For mezcal, I mean, we'll call it alcohol, basically, right? Like it would be losing yourself in alcohol. So you would have to tell someone what you think, let slip something to the wrong person, or wreck something meaningful carelessly. And on a miss, I get to choose which one of those you do. Like you hand me control of your character for a few minutes, and I get to be the drugs, right? So here, let's see what you roll, and we'll follow up with whatever drug move seems appropriate.
All right. I'm going to use Rich's dice because
You got cursed my dice.
They're so blessed.
And again, this is flat.
Yeah.
So it's a 9.
Awesome. Good. Cool. We're gonna cut away from you. So I want to give you some time to think about how you want to do this, but just as long as it's in keeping with that alcohol drug move, right? Like we'll hit it up. But we see your whole crew is like, let's do this, guys. Like we survived. It's us, right? And that's it. All right. Back at the Floorheads homestead, we had this moment of shame that you experienced. Armando, how do you respond?
Like, I'm ashamed, but I also know that like she's not telling me the truth. Like, she turned it back around on me, and I think I just like I'd already like broken eye contact with her. I think I turn because I haven't even gotten my shoes off yet.
Yeah.
Grab my coat and I walk out.
No,
That's-
you don't.
Yeah. So you hit that door. Are you gonna try to stop him?
Yeah.
Do you reach out and like
Yeah.
grab my arm?
I'm like grabbing you like ineffectively by the arm. I'm like, like I'm starting to apologize. I'm like, husband, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Come in. I'll make some food for you. Don't leave. You just got here.
Great. So
Make
I
dinner.
think.
I'll go get the medicine.
Well, yeah. So I think the thing here is like, are you really going to push that? Meaning, like, are you making him a deal? Like, is it the difference here, right? Is pressuring someone is look, stay. I love you. Making a deal is look, stay. I promise not to say anything. But the thing about making a deal is it needs to be businesslike. And my guess is your relationship doesn't work that way, right? Like, it's the difference between telling somebody, hey, come get me at the airport, and I'll show you a cool song on the radio. Like, it's not really a deal. Like, you're doing it because you're their buddy versus come get me at the airport and I'll give you $300, right? So
I think it's way more emotional.
yeah, way more emotional. So are you actually gonna try to pressure him here?
No, that this is just like
The show of it.
The show of it. Yeah, the drama. I'm
Yeah.
kicking up the drama.
Yeah, great, cool. So yeah, so he you said what was it?
Lupe can hear me being loyal.
I love it.
Yeah.
Good. So yeah, so this is all kind of your thing, right? Like the whole thing. So I want to play with time a little bit here. I don't think it's too big, but I want to make sure everybody's cool with it. So when you step out the door, you step out into your like relatively suburban neighborhood, right? Like, but it's not that suburban. You don't have that great a place.
Yeah.
Sitting out in front of your house is Elisa in a truck that she has clearly stolen. You've never seen her in it before.
Is it a Toyota?
Well, I mean, I don't think it's actually. I mean, I guess she might have circled back around, but no, she probably found it somewhere nearby.
Some other truck. Okay.
Yeah, some other truck, right? But like she rolls down the window, and does she pick you up from here? Like, have you ever seen her here before?
No. I think I'm very clear about I go to work.
She looks at you and she's like, she seems confused to see you.
Likewise. I turn back around to make sure that the front door is closed.
My back's to the door, and I'm just kind of like sighing.
Are you crying? Are you crying about your terrible husband? Oh, he's so the worst.
Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, I am.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah. Okay, go on.
And I do that. Turn back, look at Elisa. I'm like, I just like hurriedly walk over, and I'm just like, what are you doing? What are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
I was gonna go get my mother-in-law some medicine.
You can tell that answer very much confuses her. Are you going to push her further for the truth?
Not right now. I think I'm just like, you can't be here. Like, they don't know about my work.
Who doesn't
Why are
know
you
about
here?
your work? So I think it sounds like you are going to push her then.
Now I am.
Yeah. Yeah, go for it.
Like, my family. Like, no one knows. Wait, you're not here for me? And that's when I push.
Good. Now this is with hustle. So your hustle is
Not. No, it's a
plus
plus one.
one.
Yeah,
Plus
so it's
one.
fine. Ooh, that is a 4. Okay.
She looks back and forth, and she gets like she like subtly lifts a gun up out of her lap. Is like, get in the fucking car. Get in the fucking car right now. Whatever you're up to, whatever you're doing, get in the fucking car.
I don't say anything, but I open the door. I get inside.
She like reaches over and locks the door, right? Like clunk. I don't know what you're getting out of this. I don't know why you set me up or who told those federales where I was going to be. And I don't know why you're here outside my lover's house. Whatever the fuck you're doing, you're going to tell me who put you up to it. Right the fuck now.
I'm sorry. What? Is that why my daughter gave me a really weird look when I walked in?
She like grabs you by the your shirt, right? And like almost like pushes you into the door. This is the closest you two have ever been together. Like the sexual tension is incredibly high, right? And she just pushes the gun up into your face and is like, motherfucker, you will tell me what you're doing. What is this about? Is El Narco? Is he the one that put you up to this? Does he find out about and he like she just like lists a name that you're like never heard of before, right? And she's like, or was it that fucking cop? Was it the cop? Tell me who fucking set me up.
Wait, what?
All right, so first of all, mark of stress. Like,
okay.
You have a gun pointed at your head, right?
All right. This is good.
That bring you to 5?
That brings me to 5. So that
Okay.
lets you push some stuff.
So first of all, it means that anything where somebody pressures you or offers you a deal, you
Yep.
just don't have the willpower to really turn it down, right? You can interfere, but you can't just flat out turn it down. Second, I can call for you to make a stress move at any
Yep.
time. And there's some stuff there where like there should be a negotiation a little bit about what that stress move looks like, but I can call for it, and if you don't do it, there's going to be consequences, right?
Got it.
All right, so let's cut away from you for a minute to give you a second to think about it, and cut back to my man Uno back at the like you've managed to kind of like shake this off. Ortiz is fine, like you just like bullet grazed his skull. Barely, right? Like, and the two of them kind of like get, trundle off to go look for her. What do you do?
Yeah, at least I just got pulled out for something. I gotta see what. I had to drop dime on her. That's all there is to it. Like they're not just they're too stupid to just roll up and all of a sudden recognize somebody from a jacket.
You gonna try to track down Tonio and find out what he knows? Because it never ended, right?
Yeah, I think that Tonio's got to know a little bit more about this. So yeah.
Great. Let's cut back to Tonio and find out where he is, and then we'll see if the two of you can connect. So, Tonio, what did you decide to do for your drug move?
I will simply demonstrate. I think you'll know. So, like, it goes around, the bottle goes around a couple times, and everybody else takes a sip, takes a sip, takes a sip. I take a glug, right?
Yeah.
And all I've had to eat, like, since like breakfast this morning, which wasn't even breakfast, it was like a cup of coffee and like a little buñuelo or something, right? All I've had to eat was like 2 bites of a taco while I was making a point.
You didn't even get to finish that taco before there was like,
Right. Right.
federales up in your shit.
So I've had like 2 bites of carnitas, and so about the 3rd or 4th time it goes around, I point my finger at Torpe and I say, "This is your fault, motherfucker. I wouldn't have been in this position if you had put the damn magnet on the stupid GPS and we could have known where Ortiz was."
So he tries to put up like a kind of like half-hearted defense, like, "Oh, come on, Romano, like it's just it's the way it is. This stuff is complicated, like he tries to play it off."
Hey, dipshit, a magnet is not complicated. It had the adhesive on the back. All you had to do was pull off the little piece of paper and put it on the GPS tracker.
Both Lola and Nacho like almost like take a step back, like they're kind of like, "Whoa, like this shit just got real." Purpose like, "Hey, fuck you, man! I found it. I bought that GPS. I found it on sale. What did you bring to the table?"
What did I bring to the table? I bring to the table the fact that the last 7 times I found something to use in our work, it didn't screw up. Man, you can't fart without tripping over your own feet.
That one, like both Nacho and Lola are like, right? Yeah, let's make the move. I mean, you totally are shaming him. Like you're telling him someone what you think loudly and in public. Hit it.
Yeah. So, okay, so
now, the thing is that you've actually already cleared your stress track, so you're making the move, but you're not going to get the benefits of it probably, right? So.
Oh, I get it. Yeah. So there's no role for it, right?
Yeah, I think there's no reason to roll. Like it's you're kind of taunting him and letting him know, but I don't know if it really gets to the verbally abusing or shaming him. I mean, it's there, but like we don't need to make it in terms of. Well, I guess you should, because if you miss, it's going to be a thing. So let's do it. Like you're going to hit him with this. Go ahead and make the move, and we'll go forward.
Okay. Rolling with face. So this will be +1. Clear. And I didn't add the modifier in, so I'll just add it when I see the dices. That's a 6.
Oh, see, yeah, this is it, right? So 6 on a miss. Your cowardice is clear. Take -1 on going to face until you make amends. So I'm going to say that one of the reasons Torpe has kind of gotten by is that everybody feels sorry for him, right? He's like that fucking guy where, like, when you tell him how much of a screw up he is, you come off like the jerk, right? And Nacho and Lola both they kind of like almost put their hands over their faces, like, "Oh, I can't believe he's doing this." And Torpe's like,
"Too far, man, too far." That kind of thing.
Torpe's like, and he just like turns away from you, and he's like crying, and he just he tries to run away and manages to like trip, like right after you just told him, you trip over your own feet. Like he trips over something in the junkyard and like falls off, and he gets up and his face is cut, and he just like, fuck you, man, and then like runs away, right? And here's the thing. So against Torpe, you're taking a -1. Because you're just kind of a jerk. Right? It's just too far, man. Too far.
Yeah.
All right. So do you text Tonya? Is that the kind of way that you two would get in contact?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. So why don't we say at that point your phone buzzes and you see it's from your cop friend over there, Uno. What do you say, Uno?
Where are you? ¿Dónde estás?
I will text back, and with even more misspellings and shortenings than usual. So it might not even actually be entirely legible, like entirely readable by you.
some
because
emojis in there as well.
because one of the things about losing yourself in a substance is that's commitment, man. Right? So
you're drunk for a while.
Yeah. So what you get back is the equivalent of poop emoji, smiley face, arrow, car, and then maybe FU at the end.
So, do you intend for him to know where you are? Like, is it the kind of thing where, like, yeah, that's a mess, but like he'll figure it out?
No,
not
really.
Yeah, just it's junk, right? So if you want to push him, remember you can always push him to get the truth out of him, right? You could do it over text message, you could do it over phone call.
Oh yeah,
like
let's do that. I'll do that.
Yeah. So what do you text?
My text backs is like, I'm 1 minute away from putting out an APB on your ass.
Great, hit the move.
I just rolled an 11. Purple bits.
Bam. Okay, so that's 11 plus your what is that? Hustle,
which is a 1, so that's a 12.
That's a 12. He's cleared free. You got to pick the
okay.
options.
You can't confuse me with falsehoods, you drunk bastard. And I'm not going to let you stonewall me with silence this time because you're so good at it.
So you got to say something, right? But it doesn't have to be. It can't be a lie, but it doesn't have to be the whole truth. Or you can just tell the truth. And Rich, clear stress for that. Because you do, every time you get the truth out of somebody, you do clear stress. The world is under your control, my friend.
I squint at my phone.
Like you're like holding it up in the air.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and nobody has smartphones, right? Smartphones are not a thing yet. It's 2007.
No, this is a flip phone.
Flip phone, right? Everybody's got flip phone, right? SIM cards, you pull out of the phone, that kind of thing.
You got the one from like the Matrix, like bottom shoots out.
Like, yeah, the bottom shoots out of it. That's great.
So I'm like closing one eye so I can focus on, like, you know how you have to hit the number button the right number of times to get the right letter, and so all I text back is and honestly I'm not even sure if I'm trying to be a dick at this point or not, but I get out junkyard.
Cool.
Like, because in my mind that's where I am.
Yeah.
That's, but I know I'm not thinking about all the other junkyards that might be around. I'm just texting junkyard because like he was one of my people for real and knew what I meant.
Yeah, that's great. All right, let's cut. So you're like fucking Tonio, right? Like he can't get there. Let's cut over to the Flores and we'll come back. But like, yeah, so we see you like pressed up against the door. Oh, right. And as you're sort of putting on your show, you hear Lupe say from the room, "Hey, was somebody picking Dad up?"
No. Is there someone out there?
She like motions for you to come over, and the two of you like, peering out the window, like spying out the window. You see,
so like before, like I even get to the window, I'm like, this is it. This is the proof. Like, this is what I'm expected. The shoes finally dropped, and I'm like,
yes, here it is. Don't look, Lupe. Don't look.
Right. So, what's the right curse word for this one? Is this a pendejo or is this a cabrón? What And,
I mean, it depends. So Pendejo is more like stupid, like, oh, he's so dumb.
okay.
He's such a jerk, right? But Cabron also has this weird, like, friendly, like, oh, come on, dickhead. I don't know. It's like dickhead kind of.
Dickhead.
So like, yeah, you see this truck that you've never seen before pull off, and there's clearly a woman driving it. He's
Oh my
clearly in the right hand passenger seat, and yeah, they go off.
Lupe, take care of your grandmother. I'm leaving, and I'm gonna grab my car keys, and I'm gonna chase after her.
Beautiful, right? She's like, oh, wait a second. I thought she said she was sick. We don't have what am I supposed to do?
Boil some water, put a towel over her head, have her breathe in deeply. She'll be able to breathe. I'll be back.
All right, great. And you just take off, right? All right, good. Inside the car, she's like basically put the gun. She like lets you go a little bit. She's like, I gotta get out of here. Like we gotta go, right? She's put the gun, so it's just like she's got it sort of prepped so that she could shoot you if she needs to, but she could drive, and she is like calling with her phone and like kind of like driving with her knees. So she's like doing like 3 things at once, right? And your regular cell phone rings, like you didn't get a message that says put the other SIM card in. Just your regular phone rings, and you're pretty sure it's Elisa.
I answer it. What?
What the fuck?
What do you mean? Are you okay?
Oh, I'm okay. I'm more than okay. I've got your cook right the fuck here.
My cook? My cook?
Whatever everyone is planning, whatever bullshit is coming to rest, motherfucker, I got it. So you go tell El Narco, you go tell him that I want, and you hear her like kind of swallow, like, fuck, I didn't actually think about this part. I want a briefcase of cash. I want a car. I'm done. I'm out. If I don't get it, if I don't get a call back from you real fucking quick here, then this guy here is going to bleed out in my truck.
That's fine. He's got 2 cooks. This is stupid.
Oh,
and get what you want.
Yeah. So, and Armando, so like you're not hearing the other side of the conversation, right?
No.
Like you don't know, right? So she like puts it on speaker, right? And is like, oh, that's right. You don't care if I fucking shoot him?
Why would I care? I don't even know who he is.
So
I think at this point is when I'm just like, who the fuck are you talking to, Elisa?
when he says that, why would I care? You totally recognize his voice.
Yeah.
That's fucking Uno, right? Oh, you don't care? Okay.
Lisa, come on. I did not set you up. Let's fix this.
Then why were you there?
Guys have problems with.
Why were you there? Why did he come to you first? Why did Ortiz come to show you off? What the fuck is going on?
Because he suspects. And he would rub it in my face and see if I would flip out. We got you out.
All right, justify yourself. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're like, no, we're on the same team. Yeah, that's great.
Just rolled a 7.
7.
Still going good.
Yeah, so that's gonna get you to
They have doubts.
Because she'll have doubts. That's with that's with hustle. So sorry, that's with face with 0 to 7.
Face, so it's a 7.
Do you want to interfere, Armando?
No.
Sounds like Uno's got a story here.
If he had flubbed the roll, I would have tried to help.
Okay, cool. Good. Yeah. I just want to make sure it's an offer.
Yeah.
She's like shit. All right, yeah, like I said, The narco doesn't want dead cooks. This guy's more valuable to you dead than alive. It's more valuable than me. So fucking relay the message. If it's not you, then it's fucking him or it's somebody else. So just relay the message for me, okay? That's what I'm calling for.
I saw you bleeding like crazy. Come on, let's get you fixed up. Let's fix this. You're being I don't know. Maybe you're all hopped up on something. You're acting stupid.
Hey,
Let's fix this.
no, I'm not fucking using, okay? Like, did you get picked up by the cops today? No. Like, do you show up at your girlfriend's house to find the cook, like another, a cook outside waiting for you? No.
Okay, so you had a bad day. Come on, let's meet up. Let's take care of this.
All right, hit the pressure. You're good. Your honor. And Armando, are you just like there? Like, I hope she doesn't shoot me. And if Uno needs my help, I'm gonna push it.
Yeah, it's like I'm kind of like, oh, what? No.
Oh! It rolled snake eyes. Oh, the train was so good while it lasted.
It was such a good ride. She's suddenly like, she's a Sicaria who's lived a while. She
Hey,
builds a
Mark?
trap. Yeah.
Is this a point where she might notice that someone's like driving after her?
Yeah, we'll totally get there. Yeah, let me do this next.
Okay. Sorry.
No, it's perfect. That's great. Thanks for reminding me. So, I think she actually pulls up to a stop sign, and you're doing your thing. You're like trying to hostage negotiate her down, right? You're like, hey, et cetera, like, I'm on your side. She has a lot of doubts about that. And when you start making this pitch for like coming from the cold, let's meet. Why don't you have a meet? Why don't we go back to what do you say that like actually sets her off? What's the beat where you realize, that was too much?
Oh, let's see. So come on, Elise. It's not a time to set bombs and be stupid. Let's be smart.
The fuck say anything about setting? It's fucking Gauntlet. All right, fine. It's Gauntlet. I don't need the cook. And she just shoots him in the stomach. Right? Okay, Armando. You got fucking shot.
I'm sorry you suffer my hard move.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Share it amongst you.
All right.
So when you get fucking shot, let's make the move. So let's see.
Yeah. Roll. Add 1 for each. It's a handgun.
Yep.
Shooter is an amateur or not trying to kill me.
She's not really trying to kill you. Like she if she wanted to kill
Not
you,
an
you'd be dead. She's not an amateur, but she's not really trying to kill you. So it's one or the
Okay.
other, right? If she was really trying to kill you, like kill you, then she would put the gun to the side of your head and pull the trigger, right? Like
Yeah.
she just kind of casually shoots you.
Yeah. Okay. So that will be +2.
You don't have cover, body armor, or a bodyguard.
No. I'm not that prepared. That's a 10.
10. Bam. Because you
So-
you have the +2 with the 8. Yeah, great.
Yep.
So yeah, like you immediately double over, right? Like have you ever been shot before?
No.
Yeah, you just like
No.
you hear the gunshot in a car, dude. Like
Yeah,
like,
I don't know if
it's-
I've been this close to a gun going off.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So but Uno, you hear that gun going off. You hear Armando, do you scream? Do you do anything? Like what does it sound like?
It's not like a scream, it's because it's in my stomach. It's like this just like gross noise.
That's awesome. Good. And you throw up and she's like, oh, come on, fucking right. And at that moment, driving crazy, Carolina like pulls up in front of the truck, right? And gun in one hand, like steering wheel in the other, Elisa's like, the fuck? Right? What do you do, Carolina?
Okay, so at this point, I still think it's my husband cheating on me with a woman. So I've cut them off with the car that I I have, and I get out, and I am cursing up a storm. I'm like, you took my husband from me, and you've ruined our family, and
I like how you're yelling all this at the woman you're cheating on him with. Like that's
Well,
the best part, right?
I figured the part was I had yeah. And then I see her, and I stop, and I'm just so fucking confused because I didn't like I was blind rage, right? Like, and now I'm just like, Elisa, what's going on?
She like gently kind of opens the door, steps down out of the cab, gun still in her hand. Do you know him?
And I look over and I see a man that's been shot in the stomach. And
There's blood all over the windshield, right? Like from the bullet.
why did you shoot my Armando?
Who the fuck is Armando?
And she looks down and she's ashamed and she's like, he's my husband.
What name do you go by at the lab? You don't go by Armando, right? Like you.
No.
What name do you use?
Hector, maybe?
He's like, that's Hector. He's a cook for the cartel. I know him because that's what I do. Like she's got the gun and she like puts it up against her own chest. It's like that's what I fucking do.
Maybe at like this point I've crawled out and like I'm poking my head out the door.
Yeah, totally. You're like okay. You hit the 10+, man. It's gonna leave a nasty scar, but she missed. Maybe like she like thought she hit you, but she was kind of casual about it, right? Like the bullet like just went right through your stomach. Like you're actually not
no organs, no organs,
no organs,
just
like
some blood.
Yeah, and now she's got the gun and she's kind of pointing it at your wife.
I'm like, oh. I think she's dating our daughter. I don't understand, and I think that's when I pass out. From like,
well, I mean, what I want to say first though, you don't have to. Like, you hit your 10+, you're fine at some level.
Or
right?
I like
if you
was like, oh.
if you're concerned about the fact that she has a gun and seems pretty crazy right now, pretty out there, and Carolina is very vulnerable and exposed, totally fine with me if you want to pass out, like makes total sense. But like you're actually in the position where she's not paying attention to you. She's completely focused on Carolina.
Oh, that's a good idea. Okay. I think this goes better if I've gotten out of the car.
That's fine. Yeah, you sort of like stumble out of the car, right?
Yeah.
Like you're sort of checking the wound, like, oh, I'm not dead. Wow.
Can I grab the gun out of her hand?
So, I mean,
or
wow, brother. Like the first question is, do you want to try to turn to violence against her? Meaning, like, do you want to hit her with something? Like, if you want to get a tire iron out of the back of the car, back of the truck. I mean, I think it's totally reasonable that there's something back there you can hit her with. Or two, if you just want to grab the gun, then that's cool. You can just focus on grabbing the gun. That sounds to me like pushing your luck, right?
Yeah, I think Armando in a good place would grab the gun.
Okay.
But Armando isn't in a good place right now. Armando has been at 5 stress.
Yes.
So I think he just like elbow to the backside of the head. Just
cool.
Her.
Yeah. The only other thing I would say is, just because you're evaluating some options, is you actually have a move you haven't used called Ciencia Cabrón, which basically means science, bitch, right? And it's that I would be totally cool if we want to say that like the car she stole is like filled with like cleaning supplies or chemicals. If you want to grab something that you throw on her that gives you an opportunity, I'd be cool with that because it's totally in keeping with your character. But whatever makes sense for you. Those are sort of different. Those fictional options all lead to different mechanical results. So whichever one of those seems like it makes the most sense.
I think in the moment I'm just picturing him.
Yeah,
just bringing force. He's stressed out.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
So you're gonna roll to turn to violence.
Yes. Or is this a stress move?
So to dish out a beatdown, she has to be vulnerable. So if you knock her down, you can dish out your beatdown all you'd like, but first you got to knock her down.
Got it. Okay, so my savagery is 0. That's a 6.
It's a miss.
That's a miss, unless my beautiful wife was doing anything, but
your beautiful wife could absolutely help, right? Because she can distract her, she can do whatever. So if you'd like to help, Carolina, here's how it works. You're going to wager stress, meaning you're going to say, I'm willing to pay up to this amount of stress. You can't wager more stress than you can mark. So, right?
You're breaking up for me. I'm sorry.
There's no way for him to help. Oh, sorry. Am I breaking up?
I think you're good now.
Okay, cool. So you're going to wager stress. You can't wager more stress than you can mark. So for you right now, you have, it looks to me like
I have
4 stress. So you can wager up to 3 stress. And what you do is you roll with the stress you've wagered. If you get a 10 plus, you pay nothing, but you don't pay that stress. You apply a +1 or -2 to somebody's roll, and we move on. On a 7 to 9, you apply that +1 or -2, but you pay the stress. And on a miss, you pay the stress, and I get to make a move. Okay. So would you like to help here? Because right now, your beloved husband that you care so much about is trying to sneak up on the Sicaria and knock her out unconscious.
So my eyes meet his, and I immediately think, this is the only way out of keeping my secret where it is. Like, I can find a lie. Give me just the time to find a lie. So I'm going to distract her. I will wager 2 stress.
Great. Okay. So you get a +2 to this roll.
Okay. So since tips are the dice du jour, I will roll 2 of them. And I've got a 10. +2 is a 12.
Bam, 12. Okay, you pay nothing. So tell us, how do you distract her, and why is it a +2 stress thing? Like +3 stress is like big, huge things. +1 stress is small things. So +2 somewhat in the middle. What do you do that sort of melodramatically grabs her attention?
Gosh, good night, Paul. I just want to.
Yeah, thanks to Paul for playing. He's got a hangout, but his Halcona's on point.
Yeah,
Okay.
I love you all. Thanks very much. I will talk at you later.
That sounds good, Paul. Thanks a ton. We'll cut to Tonio passed out, snoring in the perfect car at the end of that'll be the last shot of the episode. Let's look at.
All right, so I've got to start building the lie up again. And so I go back to who I was when I got out of the car in the first place. I'm like, you're the one that's going to tear this family apart. You took my husband away from me, and I just I go to my drama move, which is just me.
Beautiful. Yeah, she's like, what the fuck are you talking? Like, and as she says that, just like, bam, pick your options. You got to a 7, so you get 2 of them.
All right.
You don't have to choose. You resist marking stress because you can't mark any.
Okay.
You're just so stressed out. This is.
avoid collateral damage,
That is a smart choice.
and I suffer little harm.
That is also a smart choice. So the gun goes off right into the truck, right? Doesn't hit either one of you. Like she's like, blam, shoots the gun. The gun goes flying out of her hands. And as she like kind of like tries to turn around, you like punch her and manage to like really throw her off balance.
Yeah.
Are you gonna like dish out a beatdown now too?
Yeah.
Okay, do it up. Now that means that you don't stop punching her, right? Like
Mhm.
you just keep hitting her again and again and again.
Yeah.
All right.
Please,
All right.
please keep the description of that to a minimum.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That is a 12.
Cool. So on a 12 plus, you clear your whole stress track.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what do you see? I'll just put it in your hands to describe it because it's got to be a little rough, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you see, Carolina, in your husband in that moment?
Oh, what do I see?
Yeah,
Mm.
like I want to kind of narrate, like what's your perspective on it, right? Like,
Yeah.
is it like, oh, he looks so strong and tough, like kind of messed up, or is it like does he seem like a monster in that moment? Like, what does that moment look like to us as an audience?
Oh, well, I was caught between which family I wanted to keep, and I made my choice, but it was a horrific choice, and it's just each punch I'm flinching.
That's great.
And-
Yeah, maybe we only see you, right? And you're like, right, like, yeah, as there's this.
as if he were hitting me. Like this
Yeah.
is what he could be.
Has he ever done anything like this before?
No.
Just totally snaps in this moment. All right,
Right.
Uno.
I'm seeing the true self.
You see, well, maybe, man. I don't know. We'll find out. But yeah, you think it might be his true self, right? Might be who he really is. That's great. So Uno, let's come back to you. So, I think we could do a little epilogue with these two to wrap it up. But where do you go? What do you do here at the end of this episode of Cartel? Knowing that you might have lost a cook. It's not entirely clear what happened there. Tonio's blew you off. Where do you go? What do you do? Do you go talk? Do you go try to make a connection with El Narco? And
Yeah, I think he's got to go back and reach out to El Narco. He doesn't have his normal contact, right? Lisa's who he uses to talk to him. So I think he's going to try to find some way to reach out to El Narco directly.
All right, great, cool. So let's cut to like it's a couple days later or something like that, right? So you've heard that, like, what did you two do with her body? Like, she's not dead, but like, what did you two do with her? Armando, like, what do you do with Elisa?
I almost feel like we just leave her in that stolen truck.
Yeah, great, cool. You just walk away, right? Just walk
Like
away.
we just like dump her in the truck and
Yeah, great. So you know that her body was found dead. She was shot twice, like a couple days later, and your whole unit is she was found like by the river, totally not anywhere near Armando's place. Armando never reported a bullet wound right to the hospital, so there's no record of that. But they didn't find Armando's body, so maybe it worked out. But when you reach out to El Narco, you eventually get a note, an envelope on your desk, and it says, when you open it, quietly, it just gives an address. And when you go there, it's just an open air market, like a plaza out in front of a cathedral.
Okay. Check my gun, and maybe I go ahead and get my phone and I turn it on to record, just in case.
Just in case. That's great. Yeah.
Seems
So
dangerous.
we'll say it had a time too, right? Like 2:30 p.m. or whatever. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I'll walk my way in there, and I assume somebody from Narcos Gang's gonna come get me.
You actually see El Narco himself, older gentleman, very short hair, like a little balding. He has a mustache, and he's got a bunch of guys around him, but they're all kind of spread out. They look kind of like private security, right? Like maybe he's just a rich business owner. And when you see him, he motions for you, kind of smiles, always smiles, and motions for you to sit down. Tacos, right? And there's already a plate of tacos for you.
Thank you.
What can I do for you, officer?
You got some troubles.
The world is beset by troubles, I'm afraid. So many. It is beyond the ken of one man to solve them. I hope you do not take such a burden on yourself.
No, I'm part of a team.
It's good to hear that you have people around you. The lone wolf is the first to be picked off by the hunters.
Somebody set up Elisa. Some of my people arrested her, and then, I don't know, she went a little off the ranch. Now she ended up dead. I don't know how. Something's wrong.
I'm afraid I don't know who you're talking about. But I will say that sometimes wolves, or shall I say dogs, go a little mad. And when they... It's the job of those who see the bigger picture. Put them in their place.
We're still good.
Officer, I don't really know you, but I can assure that I have no concerns about your investigations. Do I?
I don't know why you would. Upstanding businessman that you are. I'm here to take care of criminals.
Let's hit the justify on that. Right? Like, does he believe that you're here just to check in, or is this actually a thing?
Okay. Here we go. Justify is rolling with face, which mine is flat. I have a flat face. I rolled a 5, of course.
Says yes. From what I've heard, you have a more significant suspect in the case. My sources tell me that there's a woman named Flores that the department is very interested in. I was speaking with Officer Ortiz, and he told me that I could perhaps be useful in arranging for said evidence to come to light. And as an upstanding member of the business community, I was happy to oblige him. So, officer, I shall hope that your work is short and quick, and that it will not be long until the Floreses are brought to justice. He stands, Justice Ty. Good afternoon, officer. And walks away with his goons and everything forming a little circle around him. And you realize that what was once an innocent investigation is metastasizing into something that might ensnare these lovely two people, for some definition of lovely.
Sweet. So the last moment we see for Uno Mas is him very like sweat on his hands as he is swapping out SIM cards, and he sends a text to someone that says the C4 is, I would say, like the C4 is in the back of the truck in so junkyard, and it's Tagata.
It's on, man. It's on. That's great. All right, good ending. All right, cool. Let's wrap up. That was awesome. You guys brought it. So let's just do a quick round of roses and thorns, and then we'll break. So, Chris, what was a rose for you tonight? What was a moment that you really liked, a bit that you really connected with you?
I loved the way that everything snowballed at the end. And I really liked. I totally ran with Paul's suggestion of having Paul's suggestion just in chat of um, having me just be kind of oblivious
Yeah.
and like just assume that okay, Elisa's young, like my daughter must be getting into trouble and like in a relationship with this girl.
Yeah, like the whole thing got so twisted, right? Where like there's this woman, maybe there's something there. Oh wait, maybe you end up beating her half to death in the middle of the street, right? Like it's just twists really fast.
Everything going just past each other and then falling apart.
Yeah. Awesome. Mark, how about you? What was a rose for today?
Well, I have to say, like, the GMing was on point. Like, and the way that the rules are written, like the two of them they came together. Like everything we did flowed right into a move, right? Like genre hit the paper in a very good way. And
Cool, man.
like when I flipped back to like what would I expect a character like this to do, that was something that had a rule, and that was awesome. I really liked
That's
that.
great. Good. So you felt empowered to like do social stuff, like put pressure on people, manipulate them within the context of the rules.
Well, yeah, but not only that, I'll be honest, I didn't look at the basic moves.
You're just doing stuff.
I was just doing stuff, and like it always came up as a move, and I'm like, and that's perfect because I've watched the films, I've gotten into what I can, the TV shows, and I'm doing what I expect them to do, and boom, it's just happening over and over and over.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about masks. Like whenever I run it, like I'm like, "What do you guys do?" And they're like, "We go hit that villain in the face," or "I like save those people from a falling building." I'm like, "Great, that's a move. Let's roll it, right? Like let's do it. Let's make it happen." So I definitely think that's a goal for me here is to have that same feeling of just go do stuff, and the moves will do it. Rich, how about you? What's a rose for you?
I love the stress moves. I love how there's a differentiation between harm and stress, and most of the time you're dealing in stress, and that cycle is really interesting to me. I like the differentiation between stress. Even the point you pointed out that in drugs, like you always are going to clear stress. That was really cool. I really liked it a lot.
Good. I'm gonna be selfish and take two roses. So one is Rich and I don't get to play a lot together anymore. We used to play all the time because we do Indie Plus stuff back in the day, like RIP Indie Plus. But like that last scene was awesome when like you come and talk to El Narco and you like hit record and then he's like all coy about it. Like that was so on point, right? Is exactly. And like the whole thing, all of the stuff that you, Chris and Mark, that you put together as like your little weird family unit, and like it just all clicked together in El Narco in that moment. And actually before that, I actually thought of him as kind of like a savage dude, but the way it got set up for me as a GM, I just discovered that El Narco is actually like a really smart player, right? Like, and I thought that was really fun that it got set up that way. My second rose is you all were really great about rolling with like, yeah, you missed, but I'm shooting him. Like that whole like chain of stuff was very willing with everybody to kind of go with the story and see where those moves took us. That was a lot of fun for me as a GM. So thank you. Thorns, the stuff that just points of friction, things you want to see in the future, that kind of thing. Rich, what's a thorn for you for today?
So Thorn's point of friction, I really, and this is the second time I've seen it, get the truth. Setting a player up and saying like, you can't stonewall, you can't confuse with falsehoods, but if you want, you could tell the truth or mislead with the truth. Like that takes a little bit. There's no other game that has ever had that. And that's not a knock on it, but it's definitely like a point of friction.
It feels a little bit to me like when I first heard Seize by Force, right? The Seize by Force go aggro distinction. And I was like, these mean the same thing, kind of. Like it took me a while to like get my head around those.
No, this is way more clear than that.
Well, yes.
The truth is way more clear than.
But it has that like, you have to think about it before you do it. Like, wait, what do I really want from this, right? Like, there's a little bit of thinking that goes into go aggro. That's like, do I want to go aggro? Do I want to seize by force? Like, normally in games, I just like shoot things. Like, oh, I want that guy dead. Shoot him, right? And like trying to get that same thing with social stuff. But yeah, that's cool, man. Like, I think it's watching people grapple with that. Like, I got to say true things. That was interesting, right? So, Mark, how about you? Any points of friction for today's game?
I think I could have played my character so that she loved her family a little bit better. And I think I would have enjoyed some nuance for her. So that's
Well,
my.
I think there's one of the things I'm always excited about with session 2 of Cartel is the balance, right? So that was the sort of dark side. Now your family's whole again, right? Like, you know, you can start to play that other bit, right? So that's cool. Chris, how about you?
Yeah, on that idea of session 2 kind of being that balance of it, I kind of wish I'd pushed my cookhood a little more, or like played that up some, but like in the moment it never felt right. And I mean, it's fine. Like this is a really tight, really well run one shot.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel like I missed anything, but like if I was a little bit more sadistic, dumping a body in a vat of acid would be.
Well, right. I mean, that's the thing is sometimes it's about what comes up to you, right? Like you miss on that roll, you just kill her.
You have to.
And now you're like, oh, we have this dead body. What do we do, right? And then you're ready for it. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, for me as a Thorn, like I do love Cartel in terms of one shots. Like it was in some ways written for me in response to Urban Shadows, where like we would still be setting up the Urban Shadows game now, right? Like I fully recognize huge, big, honking game. And a lot of ways this is written to do that. But I'm not against scheduling a second session of this with you guys, because I think one of the things I love is that the end of session 1 is never like, and then everybody's dead and there's no reason to come back, right? Now it's like El Narco's on the hunt for you guys. He's trying to pin you as the big masterminds of the city. Uno knows that and is worried about it, and now like what happens next, right? So I would be up for discussing maybe session 2 because it was so cool. So anyway, that's always my thorn for one shots is like I love seeing that second session stuff come into play. So we might discuss. So cool, a real pleasure, gentlemen. It's been a blast, and thank you so much. I think it was just a great to see you all jump into the setting and the system and really embrace it. And yeah, it was everything I would have wanted. I would never have guessed at the end of the session Elisa would have ended up dead. Because I was like, she's so important to so many people, but I guess I should learn my lesson. Anybody who's at the center of all these relationships, they're on borrowed time, my friend. Borrowed time. So, all right. Thanks.
Thank you.